Got it for Christmas, dude.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
It's a hooded bathrobe, dude. I feel like Ric Flair.
You look like Ric Flair. Just like him.
Woo!
You look like you're about to fall over just like Ric Flair.
That man, I keep thinking he's dead, like James Earl Jones, and he's still alive. I don't know how.
He's trucking, man.
How have we lost James Earl Jones, but yet we still have Ric Flair?
I don't know, man.
It seems unfair.
The world's an unfair place. That's why I don't believe in God, dude. Right there. So
Me and you both, friend.
yeah. So how you been, bud? Kind of had a little podcast fallout with
Little hiatus
with the holidays and the failed attempt that went horrible in just about every way.
Yeah. So, if you guys remember, we promised an in-person podcast, and we did film it.
Yeah, we did the legwork.
We just
good enough.
So we thought it was a good idea, and as in we, I say me, pretty much specifically, thought that it was going to be a really good idea to get high for the first time on the podcast, and I was also extremely tired, and those two things did not mix well, and we had
they mix
no
well
structure. No, it was. I had a phenomenal time.
Yeah,
and
as far as an entertaining podcast goes, they don't mix well.
It was all over the place. So we have the video. The audio was another problem we had.
Yeah,
I spent like almost an hour trying to figure it out, and I don't know what went wrong. No clue. To this day, I have no idea. Everything should have been working. So it was a failed attempt, and we have the footage. It was like 2.5 hours of us just, I should say me really, just rambling. It was fun. I think we had a good time as people.
Oh, I think a blast, dude.
I think some people would love to watch it. People that love to see other people just fail consistently.
Oh yeah.
But so we might release it at some point as a treat of just like, hey, if you want, here you go. But
well, the other thing we could do is just release parts of it that are good, because I think we had moments that were really good.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just the vast majority of it was god awful.
And the audio quality is tough, which sucks. If the audio quality was better, I'd still say we should just release it, because
why not?
It would be. But the thing is, the audio, it was picking up. So I thought it was coming from the microphone, and it was coming from my laptop. So we were farther away than we thought we were, and we'll figure it out in time. But it was tough.
I know, when we truly get the in-person thing going, I think we'll have a little bit better luck, and we can plan it out like a little more in advance, do some testing, do some like really set it up ahead of time. That one we were like, I was already hammered, so I was of no help.
Yeah, this fucking asshole, right? So he goes, hey, we had planned this for a while. So I live 2 hours from where he's at. So I have to like get a head start to come down to meet on time. So we had planned for 5:00. So I left at like 2:30, 3:00. And I was perfectly, like, for the first time in my fucking life, I was on time. I was slotted to be in his driveway at 5:04. And I was like, holy shit, I'm going to be there right when I'm supposed to be. And I'm halfway there, and I check my phone, because I always check my phone on long trips like that just to make sure there's no change of plans or anything. So I check my phone, which I don't advocate for driving and using your phone, but I do in situations like this. And he's like, hey, got a plan for 6 instead, man. And I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. I'll find something to do. So I ended up sitting in a fucking AMC theater parking lot, movie theater parking lot, and then my phone was dying. So I had to go to Walmart and buy a charger. And I get back to my car. So this was like a 45-minute ordeal, driving through downtown fucking Scarborough into, was it Scarborough? Was that where I was? I think so. And I go into
Sebago?
No. When I went to the Walmart, pretty sure it was in Scarborough.
Oh yeah, the main one over near like Bull Moose and Lowe's and all that is in Scarborough. Yeah,
so I'm in the park. I go in there. I go to the Walmart. I go by. I take my sweet ass time too, because it's at this point it's like 5:30. So I get back to my car. It's like 5:45, and I'm like, all right, so this is perfect. This is where, like, enough time's passed. I check my fucking Snapchat, and this asshole is like, bruh, I haven't left where I'm at. I checked Snapchat maps. He's 40 minutes away from me. I'm like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
And he's like, I feel bad. And I was like, you should. You should feel bad. So I had to go to this restaurant and fucking sitting there. And then the worst part was, you did not tell me the people who were coming. You told me 2 of them. I had no idea there was a 5th. So the fucking place we were at was like, hey, if you have a party of 5 or more, you have to have every member present to reserve a table. So I went in and said, hey, we have a party of 4. I thought there was 4 of us. So then Marissa shows up with her boyfriend, and I haven't seen this woman in 3 years, and my first thing I said to her was, God damn it. Because I was like, fuck.
This is the first I'm hearing of this part of the story.
Yeah. So I looked at her, and I just went, God damn it. She's like, hi. And I was like, fucking A. So I had to go in and tell the lady. I made Aurora do it. Aurora went in and was like, sorry about your luck. We have 5 people instead of 4. Luckily, we didn't have to wait too long when you showed up.
We didn't wait at all. We literally walked right in the door. It worked out
great
didn't
for
we?
Me. Yeah.
Yeah. And sat right down.
After you sprinted in the building, and I don't know how you got there.
What do you mean?
How'd you get there?
Oh, I just got dropped off by the person that I was with previously. So, in my defense.
Yeah, right, give me your fucking defense here.
I'm not saying that I planned that well or executed well, because I obviously didn't do either.
You think?
However, I did do my personal best to plan. And my days that whole time looked like seeing different groups of people. Mm-hmm. And I tried to plan it out so the times would line up with each other, right?
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was, like, I'd go a little bit over with the first person.
Yeah.
And then because of that, the second person, I didn't want to, like, not spend time with them because I was only there for a week. So I wanted to see everybody. So then the second person would go over a little bit, which adds on even further. So then by the time I was trying to make it work, getting over to you guys, I had started out delayed.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to keep everything somewhat on track, but also see everybody enough and, like, find a balance in there. So that
I was not mad.
No, I know everybody was fine. And
it was more of like a you dickhead mad, like you that guy.
Yeah, but also I feel like you had to deal with this a lot at Farmington, me not showing up to things on time.
I forgot.
So
I was reminded.
Isn't it right, though, that now you see me again in person after a while and I'm late? Like, isn't that how it should be?
Yeah.
You know?
I forgot about that. That was actually the main topic of conversation when everybody else got there.
And that's fair.
I
would expect that.
Aurora and Marissa were both like, oh, this is to be expected. And I forgot, and I was like, really? They're like, do you not fucking remember the amount of times that kid would either not show up? And I'm like, and then it was like one of those sitcoms, like when they cut away and go to all the memories. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I have people that have learned that about me and will strategically, like, if we plan for 6, they'll show up at 6:30.
Yeah.
And generally, I'll get there like 6:15, 6:20, and I never mind waiting because I'm like, I understand.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Well, like at the first episode of our podcast we filmed, we planned for my time. It was 11 o'clock or something like that. And we didn't even start filming until it was 12:45. You were whether you had reasons at that point, but still, I was like, I forgot.
Oh, yeah, no. But even when I have reasons, the reason is I plan poorly.
That's true.
Like, it can be a reasonable reason that you understand and can appreciate and, like, you're not upset about. It's still just that I didn't make everything happen so that I was on time.
The best part I forgot about this story was when we left the restaurant we were at. So I had to take Seth home to his house, of course, because he was fucked. And
I also didn't drive there.
Yeah, so
I didn't have a ride.
Right. So by default, I just was like, I'm assuming I'm taking you home. And he's like, I could get a ride with somebody else. And I was like, no.
Who else would I get a ride?
Yeah, that's what you said to me. I remember it. So then,
well, it was a long day.
We were with Marissa and her boyfriend, and then our friend Aurora, and they all drove separately. So we were like, hey, let's meet up at Seth's house. So I take Seth with me. So I go to put his fucking house into my Google Maps because I have this weird thing when I need to know where I'm going. Even if the person in the car knows where they're fucking going, I like to have a backup. So then we're driving. We pass by a Cumberland Farms. He's like, oh, we got to stop in there. So I stop in there, and this fucking dude grabs a 30 rack of Miller Lite. And instead of
that was a partial request. That wasn't
was.
just for me.
Okay.
That was we were running low at the house. Can you stop and pick some up?
Regardless, instead of lifting it up and picking it up, he kicked it across the floor. And we're like the 5th people in line. So every like 30 seconds, all you hear is and the lady in front of us just keeps doing that weird like turnaround, like what the fuck? So then we end up going in, we get everything, we leave, which I also think they were supposed to card me because I was with you and they didn't. But that was cool. I felt like maybe they think I'm old enough. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. And so then we're driving and I'm like, I look at Seth and I say, you know where we're going, right? He's like, yeah. I said, okay. And he's looking at his phone. So I see a street sign and I kind of remember what his street name was from the Google Maps when I was driving down in the first place. And I'm looking at it and I said, hey, when are we supposed to turn? And he looks up from his phone as we're passing by the street sign. He goes, right. We pass by. He goes, there. And I went, I thought so. So I'm like, God fucking damn it. So then I had to turn around in this abandoned church. So then we get to his house and everybody else that had arrived at his house was already inside somehow. And they've only ever been at your house maybe once.
Yeah.
So your mom let him in because she saw these people in her driveway and knew they were coming. So
yeah.
we get in his house and they all look at me and they were like pointing the finger like, you motherfucker. And I was like, don't you fucking start. I was like, he's going to explain why we're 20 minutes late to his own fucking house when we were the first people to leave the restaurant.
Again, in fairness, I was requested to make that stop.
And you were also requested to pay attention to where we were going, and you didn't do that, did you?
Sure, but that turnaround in that church was right down the road. That added maybe 2 minutes. The real
like
delay was this. It was not 5. Dude, I live there. It's a fucking 30-second drive to that church.
I'm adding minutes on to make you sound worse.
No. The real delay.
Yeah, you were drunk. How would you know?
Farms. That's a good point. I don't really have an argument for that.
No, I honestly, it just added to it. It added to the character of the night. And it was in character to how you had been that day because we were late to your own fucking house.
Yeah. So
everybody was fine. They had a good time. They just had to awkwardly stand. They had said to awkwardly stand in your living room with your parents trying to make small talk.
Yeah. My mom's super welcoming though. Everyone loves being around her. So
yeah.
I'm sure they were not too upset by it.
I think the hardest part for me was when you went to the bathroom and I was like, I don't know if I was still high or I was just so tired where I felt like I was high or it was both. And your dad was like trying to have a conversation with me. I'm like, bro, I have no fucking idea what you're saying to me. He's like, yeah, awesome. Make yourself at home if you want to make a sandwich. And I'm like, uh-huh. And he was like asking me questions about like the podcast. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I have no idea what to say to you.
That's awesome. We do need to get him on the pod sometime though.
Absolutely. I actually want to talk about that after the episode of this podcast is wrapped up about guests and stuff because we said New Year. So what did you just do?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude.
Did you just spill something on yourself?
No, of course not. On the other hand, though, I am going to crack a new Waterloo seltzer.
There you go. Starting early. Isn't it like 9 o'clock where you are, dude?
Well, yeah, but these are just seltzer waters.
Oh, they're not alcoholic?
No.
I don't drink seltzer. I wouldn't know.
I fucking love seltzer. I have way too much. No, I mean, I
guess
not too much because it's literally nothing.
Yeah,
all it is water with fucking bubbles in it. But I love the texture.
I can't do it. It's like static.
The carbonation like settles my stomach. Like it makes me feel good.
That's odd. So I feel like most people that talk about like drinking carbonated stuff, it always upsets their stomach more. Like the acidity of it all.
No, I like it. I love it. Like if a lot of I've had times where if I'm not feeling well, like I ate something or whatever, if I have a little seltzer, it for whatever reason it kind of like balances it out.
Interesting.
Which I guess that could be weird, but
I mean, if it works, right?
yeah.
So what's that? Is that your go-to seltzer brand? Waterloo?
My go-to seltzer brand is whatever's around at the place I happen to be shopping at.
Isn't Waterloo the
Like,
villain from Monsters Inc? The arachnophobia dude? This
I actually have no idea. I haven't seen
Mr.
Monsters
Waterloo.
Inc. Since I was a child.
I want to fight you right now. I don't know why. That just pissed me off.
Well,
I love that fucking movie, man.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I personally haven't seen it since I was a child.
Well, you got to sit down and watch it, man. It's a
I
different
will.
experience as an adult.
You know what a good episode of the pod would be? Which it's kind of a like it goes along with another pod that I like to listen to,
Hmm.
but we could if we ever want to add a little spice in there, do a both watch a movie and then discuss it.
That would be cool. My friend Kyle would actually be a great guest for that because he's actually making a podcast where he's going to just like do stuff with franchises in terms of like film and movies.
That's
So I'd love
awesome.
to I'd love to talk to him about that and see if we could all like watch either that like we could do it ourselves, like just watch the different movies, or we could all watch the same movie and then just talk about it.
I feel like all doing the same movie is the way to go.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure then we can kind of have different opinions and whatever. My cousin Ben would also
Mhm.
be a great person to get in the loop on this. He just got me on this app called Letterboxd, which is like a social media for movies. So
I
you
just got
can
onto one of
like
those for music.
really
Yeah.
interesting.
It's called
You'll have to.
Music Board.
Well, I love that kind of shit. So you'll definitely have
Yeah.
to
Well, it's not
sign
really
me up
it
and
is a
stuff.
social media, but it is so there's an app I use called Goodreads for books where it just tracks like what books you read and then you can rate them like 1 to 5 stars. It's really simple, like simplistic stuff. And
Yeah.
this music app is the same thing. It's linked through Spotify, so if there's a song on Spotify, there's a song in this app, and you can rate albums, you can rate songs, you can write reviews. Other people can comment on them and like them. So it is a kind of a social media, I guess. I'll have to send you it after. I love it. I mean, it's been cool for me because it's a cool way to track music. So if say for instance, if you came to me one day and you said, "Hey, like what I like this kind of music. What album would you recommend?" And when it's people asking those questions, like you get flooded with ideas because there's so many things.
Oh yeah.
So that way I could just go through and be like, "Hey, I listened to this last week and I really liked it."
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That's pretty much what this is, just with movies.
Yeah. You see,
It's
I
the
like
same
that.
thing. You just
Yeah.
rate it, can write a little blurb, people can look at it. Like,
Is it 1 to 5 stars or is it?
yeah.
Yeah.
And you can do half stars.
This one you can do half stars on, which I discovered that I give 4.5 stars to a lot of things.
Well,
I,
yeah. I was trying to be conscious of that. The first movie I watched was Airplane. I watched it last night with a buddy. And I almost gave it 4.5 stars. And then I was like, let me think. Do I really think that this is a half star below 5? And I
yeah,
started thinking about all the other movies I've seen. Because, like, I love that movie for sure.
it's a great movie.
But I started thinking about, like, all right, the plot's not very deep. It's
Yeah,
hilarious, but that's all it is. You're not getting anything else from it.
yeah,
So it's great for, do you want to laugh for 2 hours? Perfect movie.
yeah.
You get nothing else from it. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to set it at 4 because I don't think it gets that half. And it's definitely not 5.
I think it's tough because I've thought the same thing, like in terms of music, but I also think it's hard to just give if you take every movie that's ever been made, right, and you put it on the same grading scale. Like there are some movies I would consider to be 5 stars. Like The Iron Giant for me is like one of my favorite movies of all time. I think it's a perfect film. But I don't think that it's on the same level as The Dark Knight, which I think is also a perfect movie. I think they're better in different areas because one of them's animated and meant for kids, and the other one is a blockbuster Hollywood film that was one of the most like famous movies of all time.
Yeah, 100%.
So I kind of take it as a for me when I rate like music and albums, I I've only ever given out 5 stars to 4 albums in history that I've listened to so far, and actually one of them was last night.
What was it?
Have you ever listened to "For Emma Forever Ago" by Bonnie Vare?
No.
Oh my goodness, God Almighty, that
I need to. I've
oh,
heard his name. I haven't
yeah.
actually listened to his stuff.
So I've known about him for years, like since probably 2013, because I don't listen to Kanye West anymore. But he collaborated with Kanye West, and I remember that being a big deal. And that's with the song they collaborated with. I really liked, and my ex girlfriend really liked one of his songs called "Skinny Love," which is also on this album. And
Oh, I've heard that song.
the song is fucking amazing. So it came on my shuffle yesterday when I was at work, and I was curious on what the fuck what "Skinny Love" meant because I don't understand what it means. So I looked up the damn you with your fucking Nicolas Cage cup. So I
Gotta be
looked up
ready,
what
dude.
yeah, I looked up what "Skinny Love" meant, and I forgot what it means now. But it's I think it was when a love was forgotten or something like that, or like a lover doesn't love at the same level as they used to.
Nah, it's when you get a
And
thin peen.
a thin peen.
Mm. Skinny love, dude. That's what that is.
Skinny love. You got my skinny love. My skinny my skinny love gun. It says, okay, on dictionary, it says it has 2 separate meanings. Skinny love can refer to 2 people who have very strong feelings for each other but are too shy to show it, so you and me. And it
Yep.
can also refer to an existing relationship when there's no love or emotional fulfillment, but only a codependence for affirmation.
So those are two pretty opposite things to have the
Yeah.
same term be applied to.
So, yeah, I guess you can use it. I guess it depends on the context.
Yeah. No, heavily.
I'm
'Cause
assuming. I'm assuming in the song. I'm not assuming. I'm guaranteeing the song is the second one because
that would make more
it's not a
sense.
happy song. It's not a happy song.
Well, the first one isn't. I guess it
It's more
could
of
be
like a
partly happy
yeah.
because there's hope, but it's not like oh, this is so great.
Yeah, but it's 2 people who have feelings for each other, which automatically is better than like a loveless relationship, I guess. That
Mm.
you're only sticking around for affirmation and codependence.
Yeah.
So
No,
regardless, I looked that up and then I saw a little like Google has the suggestions, and it
uh-huh.
was like Bonnie. When did Bonnie Iver write this album? And so the dude, who is the main singer and producer of Bonnie Iver, his name is Justin Vernon. So in 2000, I think it was 7 or 8, he went to his dad's cabin in North Carolina and isolated himself for 3 months, like living off the land, hunting, just making music, and just dealing with his grief. Like he had just gone through a breakup, and that's how the album came to be. So the album is very folky, very ambient, or has a lot of ambiance, and it's just you got to give it a listen. So the stuff you sent me, like Jason Isbell things, I really think you would love that album.
I'll check it out.
It's beautiful, and so that was I have 5 stars without a doubt in my mind. I think it's almost as perfect of an album as you can get.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
What do you think?
definitely check it out.
What do you think is the most perfect album of all time?
Thriller
Really?
has to be.
I don't know about has to be. It's a pretty. It's
I
also.
think for me, when you have an album that the run of songs, I'm gonna make sure I can say it in order because I don't want to mess it up. But I mean, what do you think then? Do you have an answer like that?
I have a few. But like my problem is like it is so personal that like I guess
Yeah.
if you're going like greatest album of all time that isn't a collection album, like or
Hmm.
a greatest hits album,
I don't count those.
Thriller's probably it purely based off of numbers, right?
Well, I'm thinking too. So you have in order, the album goes Thriller, Beat It, Billie Jean, Human Nature, and Pretty Young Thing. So you're talking about 2 in a row, Thriller and Beat It, or even Billie Jean, really. 3 of not even just the biggest songs in Michael Jackson's discography, but in that era and in pop in arguably in music history. I mean, Thriller is one of the most famous and important songs in history of music. So to have those three songs in order, then you throw in Human Nature, which is my personal favorite Michael Jackson song, and Pretty Young Thing.
Pretty
And
Young Thing
plus,
is such a good song.
what a jam. I mean, this album doesn't have any bad songs. I don't particularly care for The Lady in My Life and Baby Be Mine, but I still listen to them. And then you have The Girl Is Mine with Paul McCartney, and the album starts off with Wanna Be Starting Something. I mean, those are just incredible songs on this album that I think would any other artist would love to have one of those, and Michael Jackson has like 6 of them on one album.
Yeah. I One of the ones I also always go back to. Obviously, there's like other ones that are obviously up there, like
Mm-hmm.
Sergeant Pepper's, The Beatles
Never been a Beatles
is
guy.
huge. Yeah, but it all depends on how you're looking at it. Because if you're
I
looking
have
at
to
it,
re-listen to them because to be honest, it's been a long time.
if but it depends on the conversation. Because if it's purely personal, then I would also go. I wouldn't go with like, oh, I like this album, so it's the best one ever. But like, if I'm going personal opinion, what do I think is a perfect album as far as combining greatness with my personal taste? I'm
Mm-hmm.
going Led Zeppelin 4.
Fair enough.
Because that album, like, if you do the same rundown through the songs, that album is like a crazy. It's got Black Dog, Rock and Roll, Battle of Evermore, Stairway to Heaven, Misty Mountain
Yeah.
Pop, Four Sticks, Going to California When the Levee Breaks.
Yeah,
Like
you got a point there.
that's a sweet lineup of songs. But like obviously numbers wise and especially globally, that doesn't touch Michael Jackson because like how could you? Because Michael Jackson was a global phenomenon.
In my eyes, if just looking at it like not what's the word objectively, I think it's Thriller. But if I was on, I like to revert the questions. I don't like the greatest of all time question because
Yeah.
I'm always going to say Thriller, even if I don't. But if I like look at it of like you're on a desert island, and you have one or two albums that you can take with you to listen for the rest of your life. That's a harder question because it's not just what's the best album ever made. You got to think of replayability because you're going to have to listen to it for the rest of your life. You got to think about diversity on an album. So if you don't want every song to sound the exact same, you got to want probably some length because you don't want like a 30-minute album. I mean, maybe you would if it's that important to you. But I think Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly" is probably, in my opinion, the best album I've ever listened to.
Huh.
Just the cultural impact of what the album meant, and that's kind of, it's hard for me to say that because well, it's not hard for me to say that, but it comes from a different set of eyes because I can only imagine what this album would have felt like for like a young black man living in an impoverished area. Like just because from what I've read online for people who have had that like experience, this album makes them feel heard because that's like the cultural impact. I think it's one of the most important albums in hip hop history, if not the most important. I think it solidified Kendrick Lamar as the greatest rapper of this generation, and in my opinion, the best rapper of all time. That's a hot take, I think, for a lot of people. And I mean, he
I'm the
actually
wrong
won.
person to try to
I
debate you
know.
on it.
I mean, I think people that are my age would agree with me, but I still think a lot of people would say Jay Z, Biggie Smalls, Tupac. If they're smart, they'd say Andre 3000,
Why is that?
Outkast. I just think
Oh yeah.
I like. He's a great rapper. I think he's one of my
Well,
favorites.
the other part about it too, and I didn't really have this when I was younger. I really only started to expand
Hmm.
like mid late high school, I think. Because up until that point, all I'd really listened to was like classic rock and maybe some older country.
Yeah.
Having things come out and you experience that being released and then it becomes a moment in your life
Hmm.
is way different than
Right.
listening to something that's existed since 1976 or even like that was released when we were like really really young and then we just
Yeah.
found it because it becomes like I said, it becomes a moment for you.
Yep.
Like if you were listening to Kendrick Lamar when he released that album, and then
I
you
was, and
got
I
to
hated it. Fun fact.
interesting,
I didn't
but
understand it.
still,
Yeah.
like you're able to be a part of something rather
Right.
than see something that has been around and then now you make it a part of you. Like that's how I felt
Yeah.
recently with I've kind of expanded on that like bluegrass folk country-ish
Hmm.
like era, and I'm listening to a lot of people that are now releasing things, and getting to hear things coming out is so much different than discovering an old album that you like.
I don't think there's a much of a better feeling in my life than knowing an artist I love is releasing a new album.
Oh
And
yeah.
I got both of my favorite band and my favorite artist both released an album in 2022 within like 3 months of each other. So Kendrick released his fifth album in June or May, and then the 1975 released their album in October. And there's no better feeling for me than like waiting until midnight and then going on Spotify and then just experiencing all those emotions in those songs for the first time. Like that's a great feeling. And that's how I felt with Kendrick Lamar's album Damn. So that was 2017. It was my sophomore year of college. And I whenever I hear those songs, I just think about my dorm room being 95 degrees in the early days of May. And it was like 12 o'clock. I had my fan in my window, and I was just sitting there for hours. I think I was up till 4 o'clock in the morning, just replaying it over and over again, just to fully like comprehend it. And
Yeah,
that's a
no, there's
memory
nothing
that will
like
live
it.
forever. That's a memory that will live forever. And that's why it's hard for me not to say that album, but I try to stay unbiased when it comes to nostalgia because that's not Kendrick Lamar's best album. He has, I'd say, two albums better than that one. It's still great. I don't think he's ever had a bad album. It's just there are some that are so much
Well,
better.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's always
But
going to
that,
be a hierarchy, even if it's thin margins.
yeah. Like, I think my
But
least favorite album from him is still a 4-star album. I think I'd give most of his stuff a 4.5 to 5.
fair enough.
It's hard
But
to give
like,
him 2 5s. I've been back and forth on that, but
but like, over COVID, Sturgill Simpson, the guy I was telling you about, that
yeah.
was like my favorite. I'd been listening to him. I think I started listening to him like late 2018. Really picked up in 2019, and then in 2020, he released two separate massive albums that were like bluegrass covers, like traditional bluegrass covers of a ton of his songs. Like
Hmm.
they are long albums. And he like put a ton of spin on the songs, so it wasn't like you were hearing the same song a little bit different. It was a completely different take on all of the songs. And then had a few new songs sprinkled in. And he released two of them like back to back in 2020. And then the following year in 2021 released actually his last album was like a concept album loosely based on his grandparents. So
Hmm.
the whole album's a story, but it's in that more traditional bluegrass country style. Um, but like that was right in the peak of COVID. So just sitting around
Right.
in your place dealing with all the COVID stuff we were dealing with, especially back then when we didn't really know what was going on, having stuff like that to look forward to.
Oh yeah.
And then now you have this thing that's brand new, just came out, you're getting to experience it in real time. And then by the time the new effect of the first one wore off, the second one came out. And
That's
then
awesome.
by the time the new effect of that second one came out, I circled back to the first one, then listened to both of them together. Then his new concept album came out. And it
Hmm.
was like just this huge stretch of
Yeah.
he was like all I listened to just because it was all new and there's a ton of it. It was fucking
No,
awesome.
like music kept me alive during that initial 6 months of COVID. Like 100%.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like
Like,
I know a lot of people say that, but I genuinely mean that. Like if it wasn't for some of the music that I found during that time, like I wouldn't be here.
fair enough.
Like I hate to get really deep on the podcast, but like that's an important thing is like people underestimate sometimes the power that art has, whether it's music
Oh,
or
it's
film,
wild.
anything. I mean, find something that like you love, and figure it out. And I'm a person that consumes a lot of music, and I also like to create my own music at the same time. And equally, both of them help. Like if you find an album that just resonates with you, so that's like the Bon Iver album I was telling you about. I saw a bunch of people say it's the greatest breakup album ever, and I was like, that's a
That's a
that's a
hefty. There's a
that's what I was
lot of
saying.
breakup albums.
I think it might be. I
Huh.
really think it might be. It's up there. If I would have found that album a year ago, I would be fucking crushed. Like I'm glad I'm in an okay spot like mentally with everything right now, because if I wasn't, I would be like in my bed right now just like tears. Like
Just listening to that album on repeat.
it's crazy. I mean, it's one of those things that I feel like it connected with me on such a personal level of the feelings that this person was documenting. And that's like the thing I love is my grandmother asked me this question one day, and this is the answer I give: is a lot of people say, why do you listen to sad music all the time? Won't that just make you more sad? No, I don't think so. I look at it as like a virtual hug, because it's nice to know that somebody else has gone through the same things that you've gone through, and you don't feel as alone.
Yeah.
Because like if I listen to fucking like Pharrell Williams, like I'm happy. It's like I want to fucking shoot myself. Like it's like I
Yeah.
don't feel
Well,
that
it's
way.
like it's almost like therapy you can do on your own.
Yeah,
Because it's the same as therapy. You're
right.
taking emotions you have, processing them, and
Hmm.
figuring out exactly how you feel about the situation you're in, and then using it to think on it and move on.
And some of the
So,
songs I've listened to put it better in the way I'm feeling than I could ever think to put into words.
yeah, and it helps you understand where you are at.
Right. And I think that's important. Is a lot of people don't understand the listening to sad music aspect. They think it's to make yourself more depressed, which sometimes it is. Which I think that every once in a while it's nice to kind of put yourself into those emotions if you don't like to feel them, because I think it's important to feel and to not repress, because then it just makes things worse.
Well, yeah, it's important to feel and it's important to process. Like, you got
Yeah.
to think through your shit. You can't just put it on the back burner and then hope it goes away.
And sometimes you just hear a song and it just all hits you because the words that are being spoke are as true as they've ever been. You're like,
Yep.
ah,
And then I remember when we were at UMF, I was having a particularly hard time at one point,
mm-hmm.
and there was this one song that I found that I was like, holy shit, like everything I've been thinking
Yep.
can be narrowed down to like these lyrics. And then I ended up listening to it fucking all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the song? It's called What's New Pussycat.
Fuck you dickhead.
Tom Jones, baby.
Fucking asshole.
I was like, this is it. This is what I needed. I've been looking for this song all my life. And now I finally have it.
This puts everything into my... I feel so heard, so understood.
Yeah, dude.
Fuck you.
I was wondering if you were gonna get.
Well, I kind of figured, because I was like, I don't remember this at all. And the only song I think of whenever I think of you, and the only song I ever think of is "What's New Pussycat."
Yeah, it's a beautiful tune, really.
Yeah,
touching.
Yeah, it's not. I got a good story about work. So I got the workplace I work at's doing this. We Like You. So I don't know. They're doing some employee spotlight essentially.
Appreciation thing.
No, it's like a spotlight thing. So they gave me this little interview sheet, and it had questions on it. And it was like, why do you like working for this company? What makes you proud to work for us? Like, what are some of your hobbies? I should have wrote, I have a podcast. Damn it. I didn't think about that. Fuck. And
next time.
Next time. And so one of the questions was, what's one thing about yourself that people might not know? And I couldn't think of what to write. I had no clue.
You should have written, I'm 6'6".
Well, I almost did, to be cynical. Awesome. I was like this close to being like, I think I almost put due to contrary to popular belief, I did not play basketball.
Oh,
but I
interesting.
decided against it because I was already kind of taking it as a joke, and they're not gonna like when I wrote on some other stuff. That's
Really?
fine.
That's
They
awesome.
they wanted to highlight me. They're gonna get me, not fucking corporate me. All right.
Well, yeah.
Like,
That's how it should be.
so anyway, so I didn't know what to write. So one of my friends that works upstairs was working. So I called the extension that I can get to her at. So she picks up and she's like, "Oh, it's her name is Chelsea." She's like, "Oh, it's Chelsea." And I was like, "Chelsea." I was like, "What's one?" I didn't even say her name. I just started yelling. I was like, "What's one fact about me that you think is interesting?" She's like, "What?" And I was like, "Just give me one." So she said something about me being a good singer, which isn't true. And thank you though. And I said, "Hold on." I said, "Hold on. I'll transfer you." So I transferred her. It's 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. So I transferred her down to the front desk phone. Nobody was down there, and so I thought that was funny enough. So I started fucking laughing. Me and my coworker Jason are just losing it. And she comes down later that day, and she looks at me with this like look of like, "You fucking dickhead." And I was like, anybody pick up?" And she's like, "Yeah, the fucking switchboard operator." I forgot. I forgot when you transfer somebody and it rings 4 or 5 times, it just automatically goes to the switchboard person. So she's sitting on the fucking line, knowing that I was just being a dick, and somebody else is like, "How can I help you?" Because it looks for them like that. It looks like they're trying to call them. So the switchboard operator thought that Chelsea was calling the front desk at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning, like a maniac, knowing that nobody's down there.
That's awesome.
So she just hung up. She's like, "I just hung up on him. I didn't even say anything." And I was like,
Oh
"What the?"
my god. That's fucking
Yeah.
great.
So every time I see her now, I'm like, "Hold on, I'll transfer you." Fucking dick.
Really? Why wouldn't she just hang up when it rings at the front desk?
That's what I said because she knew where it was going to.
Yeah. Like
But
what?
it
Or
made it even funnier.
if you don't need to be transferred, like just hang up. You
I
know
think
you
maybe
don't
she
need a
thought.
call.
I think maybe she thought I was gonna go downstairs and pick up the phone.
Interesting.
I did not care that much.
No. But I'm trying to think, what do I have for around the farm? I got to pull my notes back up.
Notesy notes.
Yeah, no, we really talked about it. Pretty much just the trip home
Yeah.
was good. Got back. Pretty much been working steady ever since.
You have been working some insane hours, dude.
Yeah. It'll lighten up though.
That's good.
This week here, I'm going to start working the 4 to midnight shift, which is good because a lot of the problem during the day is that I'll have like a set list of things I want to get done, but then I'll get a call from this person that needs this and a call from this person that needs this. And then I got to
Yeah.
go over here and do this because this came up. Like that won't happen 4 to midnight. I'll just be
Yeah.
able to do what I want to do.
Are you
So my
guys
hours,
24/7?
no,
No.
no, we're typically standard 40-hour work week, supposed to be
Yeah.
Monday through Friday. But the project we're doing is in the operating rooms.
That's right.
So we have to do them one at a time, and we can't make noise during the day.
Yeah.
So we got a night shift to make noise. But my hope is that I'll be able to do this shift and then during the day ski.
Oh,
Then
nice.
come back down, go to work at 4, midnight, go home, go to bed, and then like wake up and like ski, like have a
Yeah. So
little chain of skiing days.
before I took the overnight shift at my job, I was 4 to midnight, and it's a good shift if you can get yourself up in the morning. I used to like when I was dating my ex girlfriend. She'd come over at like 10 o'clock in the morning. So I'd go to work. I'd come home. I'd go to bed. I'd be up to like 1 or 2 in the morning, and then I'd wake up at 9. I'd wake up, and then we'd spend our day together or whatever. And I'd go to work, and it's a long day. But if you can get up and I think you usually don't sleep that much. I feel like you're always awake when I am, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So I think you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine.
Yeah. No, I definitely probably don't sleep as much as I should. I had a
I'm a firm
hilarious.
believer in like 7 hours of sleep a night, and I've been struggling to get 5 in the last like 2 weeks.
I probably average like 5 ish.
I feel like the longest I ever see the Snapchat delivered thing to you on is the most I think I've ever seen was 7 hours, and that was like a couple days ago when you were exhausted. And I was like, I thought you were dead.
Yeah, though that's fair. Yeah, it's probably not great, but
It's okay. You're young enough. You'll be fine.
yeah, exactly. Um, I'm trying to find my watch gives me like a breakdown of my sleep, and there was one day that it was absolutely hilarious.
I feel like we
Oh,
talked
so
about this.
I did the overnight shift of I went in at 6 Thursday night, and then I had a meeting at 2 that ran till like 4:30. Then went to the hospital. Was there from like 5:30 to like 12:30 or 1, because we had to move their kitchen equipment back into the kitchen because that was the project we just kind of wrapped up. But then some stuff came up during the move that we couldn't completely get done, that had to be done the next day so they could still do their stuff. So I went home, went to bed, and then woke up and was at work at 6 again. And it was a brutal day, but I fucking was looking at my sleep score while I was like in the trailer with my coworkers. It says short, unbalanced. You slept too little and the overall quality was low. You may feel very tired today. Your high stress levels yesterday prevented you from recovering fully while you slept. Try to take it easy today. And I ended up working like 8 or 9 hours.
Ah.
Yeah. And then it breaks it down into like duration, stress, deep, light, REM sleep, like all that. Everything is poor except my deep sleep is excellent.
So you slept hard.
Yeah, I pretty much hit the pillow, slept hard for like 3 or 4 hours, and then just popped out. And the rest of it is just god awful.
Oh my God. I don't know what. So a couple days ago, my first day back to work of this week, I should say, I couldn't fall asleep for the shit. I don't know what my problem was. So it was like 5 o'clock. I was like, I'll put my phone down and I'll just read. And I ended up starting this book and I loved it. And I was reading for a while and I was like, I probably been reading for like an hour. It's probably like 6 o'clock. Looked at looked at the time on my Kindle. It was like 7:45. I was like, you hate seeing it. That sucks. So then I was like, well, I have to sleep now. So I turned my Kindle off. I probably tossed and turned for an hour and I woke up at 10:30. So I probably fell asleep at 9 and woke up at 10:30. I like woke up and like one of my eyes wouldn't open and I was like, oh, this is bad. So I get in the shower and I'm like, I'm going to hate this, but I need to do it. So before I turn my shower off, I let it get to the coldest possible setting and just got hit. And I was like, ha! Whipped it off. And I was like, whoa.
And sometimes that's what you need because
that was what I needed.
There's no energy drink that'll give you that.
No,
that was exactly the face of the planet.
I was like, holy shit.
You'll be at a 10 out of the gate.
And I don't do it often.
For a little while because your body.
Yeah, it probably lasted for an hour.
If you stand in the cold and really let your body adjust to like you are now freezing, you'll be awake for a while.
I was a bitch. I think it was maybe 10 seconds, if that. I tried to do at least 30, and I was like, no fucking shot. No chance.
You're trying to do 30, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Well, I was like, I had the shower head on top of my head, and I was just going to let it just kind of go all the way down, and it started to hit my scalp, and I was like, whoa! It's like I backed up, and it was just like hitting my feet, and I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm done.
That's awesome.
Holy hell, it was bad.
Yeah, but it worked.
But it woke me up for a little bit.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
That's all I needed.
All right,
maybe a little cocaine. What are you saying?
That also works.
Nope.
What do you got in the news?
Oh, this is a good one.
Oh yeah.
So, this has been all over social media. I feel like at least I've seen it. I only am on Reddit, but I've seen it all over Reddit. So I don't know if you've heard about this yet.
Probably not.
But a female Tennessee police officer and several of her colleagues.
Is that yours? I did. Yeah. No, this isn't mine.
Okay.
I'm glad you brought this up.
Yep, they've been terminated from their positions as police officers and more due to their involvement in multiple workplace affairs. The internal investigation, which was conducted in December, revealed that the officers engaged in various sexual misconduct. This is my favorite part, such as exchanging explicit photos, stripping off in a Girls Gone Wild hot tub party, and even having oral sex with two other officers at the police station. The woman and all other officers involved, which included two sergeants, a regular police officer, and a detective, were all dismissed as a result of their actions. And the woman later admitted to performing oral sex on her sergeant and a detective while on duty at the police station and within the police gym. The best part that I forgot in this article is she's married to a park ranger and claimed that they were in an open marriage. And I'm pretty positive the husband was like, "We are." And
So
I saw, yeah.
So really, when it comes down to it, what's the problem? I mean,
a lot.
No. If they're getting off right before they go out, they're probably pretty relaxed. They're going to be sharp.
They're making whoopee before they go out, dude. They're on duty. They have responsibilities to protect and serve.
Yeah, not you do the duty while you're on duty.
Not protecting nut in your mouth, brother. What are you doing?
Protecting sperm, dude.
I fucking was going to say that and I heard you.
But, like, what better way to get in a good headspace to be able to go out and do your job correctly than that?
So the best part about this, from what I remember reading the other articles, was her sergeant is this, like, Terry Crews, Dwayne Johnson hybrid man. Like, and he's a huge motherfucker from the picture I've seen. And apparently in the article I read on New York Post, is this girl was bragging about his, quote, big black dick to her coworkers.
Nice.
Which makes me laugh even harder because he tried to deny it when they were like, that they had... He tried to deny it.
He tried to deny his big black dick.
No. He tried to deny that average. They had, like... Yeah, it's average, asshole.
I was like, why would you deny that? But yeah, no, then I thought more about it and I was like, oh, I can see why you did.
Well, because these people were almost all married or dating other people. Like, it wasn't just her. Like, this guy was married. The big black dick man was married. And so he initially denied his involvement and then was like, yeah, she gave me a head in the police station. What about it?
That's awesome.
She gagged him up, big black dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fucking wild, dude. I mean, it's not surprising. Like,
I'm sure it happens way more than we hear about.
Oh yeah, but
like,
especially because it's such a high stress job that, of course, people are going to be looking for ways to relieve their stress, and they're all dealing with it all the time. Like, again, not to say that it's like,
not right.
Not to say that it's right. It just it's not like they did. Like,
you can sympathize. Yeah. I think they would have been in trouble, but they wouldn't have been as in trouble as they are had they not been caught doing it and exchanging, like, sex images while one of them or both of them are on the clock. That's the problem. Is if they were just meeting up, like if they were just basically having like an orgy outside of work, then and they were all outside of work, that's fine. They were all consenting to it.
Yeah.
Like the police department probably has rules and regulations and a code of honor and ethics that they can't, like, intermingle, like, sexually outside of work. But I mean, the fact that they were actively on duty. I mean, imagine, like, there's a dude, like, now I think about it all the time. Like, I passed a cop at a speed trap. I'm like, what if he's fucking whacking off to a picture of another cop he's getting nudes from? Like, that might have been happening. Or she's giving him top in the fucking cruiser in the back of, like, a Wendy's parking lot, man. Like, that's crazy shit. Because you see a cop back there, you're like, oh shit, I don't want to go back there.
Yeah. Might get
wet. Guy's living the life. Might get stuck in the splash zone.
Yeah, dude.
I also love the fact that they said a Girls Gone Wild hot tub party. I want to be invited to that, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, and they also missed out on the perfect opportunity to call it a fuck the police party.
Yeah. Oh man. A lot of missed opportunity.
Yeah. Well,
listen, if I'm that girl, you have to make an OnlyFans in the next month, and because you'd make so much money.
Oh yeah.
If she's smart, she'll do it.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
you gotta capitalize on
capitalize.
the publicity.
And I'm at least being nice and not including her name in here. I have no reason to. I mean, it's like it's public information. I'm allowed to do that, but I don't want to.
Especially on a massive platform like ours, she doesn't need to be
Yeah,
blasted like that.
yeah. I don't need. I don't need her to get more attention. But
Yeah,
I
which is
didn't feel
hard to
like
get
putting
it.
her name in.
We'd really put it over the top.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think we were the ones who broke the James Earl Jones dying news. So
That's true. Yeah. That's awesome.
that's my news story for the week. Fuck the police, but literally.
Mine is essentially just a recap of what's happened with the Patriots since our last episode.
Yikes.
We are obviously out of the playoffs.
You know, I almost said it earlier. I almost looked at you and said, hey, man, when's the Patriots playoff game? But I decided against it.
Yeah, no, this is the Brady jersey because he's still in. So I might as well root for him. They play.
You've suffered
night,
enough.
But...
You've suffered enough, I felt.
Yeah. No, it's so. I have mixed feelings about it. We aren't in the playoffs. However, we shouldn't be in the playoffs. If we made it, probably a first round exit. If we somehow miraculously got to the first round, depending on who we played, definitely a second round exit. Like, we did not have a team to go very far at all between
so if they would have
players and coaching.
If they would have beat Miami, would it have been Buffalo they played still if everything stayed the same?
What do you mean in the regular season?
Yeah, because isn't Miami playing Buffalo right now?
Yeah, they beat Miami, and then we lost to Buffalo.
Right. I mean, if they beat Buffalo at the end of the regular season. No, they wouldn't have, right? Because Buffalo would have lost the second seed.
There's all kinds of possibilities depending on who wins. I forget. I think we might have played Buffalo in the playoffs because it was like a 3-way battle to get into the playoffs between us, Miami, and the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
So, if we won, we were in. If we lost, Miami wins, they're in.
Yeah.
If we lost, Miami lost, Steelers won, then the Steelers are in. So, we lost, Miami won, Miami's in, which really is a shame because their third-string quarterback is playing in this game.
They're going to get fucked.
Yeah, because their first-string, Tua, has had
Tua turned the ball over.
Yeah, he's possibly had the most concussed season of all time.
I feel bad for that kid, man.
He was fucking down on the field doing bad magic because he got hit so hard.
He's learning sign language out there.
Yeah, dude. He was saying "help me" in sign language.
He's throwing up gang signs. What the fuck, Tua?
Yeah, dude. It was bad. But yeah, so he's been having problems, and then Teddy Bridgewater got hurt. Their official backup.
Yeah, he broke his thumb.
So now Skylar Thompson is starting.
I know too much about the Dolphins because my coworker is a diehard Dolphins fan. So I know too much. Yeah, I know too much about the Dolphins. So we actually talked about this last night, and he thinks that he wants to roll with Skylar Thompson if he does well. And I'm like, if he does well, I don't know, man. That's going to be a tough one.
The other part is, do you have a choice? Because the other guys are so fucked up.
Well, he's a firm believer in the Brady and Sean Payton going to Miami rumor that has been circulating.
So
he thinks,
rumors, dude. No one knows what's happening.
Well, Miami, I've seen in the last 24 hours, Sean Payton and Tom Brady are going to Miami. I've seen Sean Payton's going to the Chargers because they should fire their fucking coach after what happened last night. To be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Get him out of there. Get him the fuck out.
He's had too many things like that where games have fallen apart on him.
Listen, you start a game off. I don't give a fuck what team you play for, who you are. You start a game where your opposing quarterback has thrown 4 interceptions and 3 of them have been to the same fucking DB.
And then 3 of them came in the first quarter. 3 interceptions in the first quarter.
What was it?
27-0.
Wasn't it Trevor Lawrence's out of his first 6 passes, 3 of them were interceptions?
Yeah. There was a point in the game where Asante Samuel Jr. the cornerback that had 3 interceptions, had more catches off Trevor Lawrence than any of his own players.
Yeah.
That's
So,
fucking crazy.
and you also have Justin Herbert as your quarterback, and you lose that fucking game?
Yeah.
Come
Not
on.
only that, but he's got studly weapons around him. Like, he's got
Yeah.
a great offensive crew.
Yeah, because he has
To
what?
let that game
Austin
go.
Eckler. Austin Eckler is his running back. I don't know much about
Keenan
them, to be
Allen.
honest. Yeah.
He's got Keenan Allen. They have Mike Williams, but he's hurt right now.
Yeah.
But they have Joshua Palmer, who's been a very, very serviceable number 3 guy.
Does Donald Parham play there, or does he play somewhere else?
He plays there. He's the backup tight end. Gerald Everett is their number 1 tight end, who has been a great addition.
Yeah.
Like, they have a good team. There's no reason that they should have
So I didn't watch the game. I turned the game on as I was getting ready for work because I got a headline from Bleacher Report that says, "Turn this game on now." And I turned it on with 3 seconds left, and the kick was up and in. And I was like, well, that was the game.
I was watching the game, and I went to a little bluegrass show last night.
Yep.
And I stood outside of the venue for 5 minutes to watch the end of the game. Like, I watched the last drive and then the field goal, like literally standing outside of this like little venue on the street.
So I watched some of the highlights, and there's 2 things that I want to comment on as a sort of casual NFL fan. I wouldn't call myself a diehard at all. The first game I watched this season was the Bills-Patriots regular season game. That was the first like full half of football I had watched all year.
The last one?
Yeah. And so Joey Bosa, did you see this? What Joey Bosa did?
What?
So he was pissed off that they didn't call a false start on the Jags on one of their touchdowns. They were going to go for just a single extra point kick that would have just put them behind by 3 points. He went on the sideline and fucking slammed his helmet down. His coach picked it up, gave it back, gave his helmet back, and Joey Bosa slammed it down again. And they called him for a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And then Doug Peterson was like, well, let's go for 2. And they went for 2, which ended up being important because then they ended up field goal 1 by 1. So Doug Peterson even came out and said, if that penalty hadn't happened, we were going to go for just a single extra point. We weren't going to go for 2. But because Joey Bosa lost his cool, he ended up losing he didn't lose the game for him, but he definitely didn't help them.
Yeah. No, so do you know how all that works?
I don't.
So when you kick an extra point, you kick it from like the 10 or 15 yard line or something.
Yeah, it's like a 30-yard field goal now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something like that. But when you go for 2, it's from the 2-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get a penalty like that, it's half the distance to the goal. So now it gets moved up to the 1-yard line. So and it doesn't seem like much, but that 1 yard makes a massive difference because now you literally are arm's reach from.
And that's what I'm pretty sure that's what Trevor Lawrence did, was he just literally jumped it with one hand like the Jordan logo and put the ball over the goal line.
And that's what lets you do that is stupid penalties. So
to be fair, Justin Herbert really why are you throwing the ball so much when you're up by 27 points? So do they learn nothing from the Falcons and the Colts? Like, did you learn nothing?
Yeah, but there's examples of both. There's examples of teams that start to try to run down the clock, but then you don't have actual drives anymore. You just have you run the ball 3 times and they know you're going to run, and then you get stopped, and then you keep giving the ball back to the team.
But you could at least try to do 2 or 3, like 2 run drives, and then you have to put it into your best playbook. That's just for me, but
yeah, it's a tough call. You really have to know your team.
You lose momentum, I guess, because you're also playing on the road.
Yeah. No, so it goes both ways, and it's a tough call. You just have to kind of know the situation. But there's definitely no excuse for a 27-point comeback.
And I don't want to take any credit away from the Jaguars, but it's the fucking Jaguars. Like, they're a good team, but they're still a really inexperienced team. And
crazy inexperienced.
The Chargers are too, to be fair, in terms of playoff football. But
they have players that have
exactly
seen it.
And Trevor Lawrence has had some big games, not NFL games. So I mean, he was in the college championship games, at least
Yeah.
once or twice.
Yeah.
I
I
think he was in
think
it. He won it once, and I think he lost it in his senior year
yeah
because that
to
was that
Joe
was like one of the
Burrow.
only. It was like one of the only games he had lost in his collegiate career.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, I
But
just found out today that Trey Lance has only had 2 full seasons of playing football in his life. Did you know this?
no, like 2 full seasons.
Yeah, he played 1 season in high school and then was redshirted as a freshman in college, was the backup in his second year, and then he started his junior year or something like that. He's
Holy
only
shit!
played, I didn't know this until today. Why the fuck did he get drafted so high? I could do that. Let me go out there and fucking play quarterback for 2 years in high school, and then they can draft me third overall.
Yeah, but he was really good in college.
I bet, but
Like,
it's
because
for me.
he's
It's
this
he's
weird mix of. He's a weird mix of. He's one of those. He got drafted on potential, because he didn't go to a like high competition school like an Alabama or a LSU or a
Georgia.
Georgia
Yeah,
or one of those. I forget where he went, but he
it was something
is
weird.
yeah, he's really athletic, so he can make plays with his feet, and then also the accuracy he showed in college was like
North Dakota State.
ridiculous. Yeah, the
Yeah,
accuracy he showed in college was ridiculous. So the idea is, especially on a team like the 49ers, look at what they're doing with Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy, the last pick of the draft. Is
I love that so much. That's one of my
oh
favorite
yeah,
stories in football right now.
it's so cool. But like if you can get him in that offense just to be accurate, just to find the open guys, run the offense, make plays with your feet sometimes, like he could be a great quarterback. But you're also taking a risk because there's more proven guys that you could go with
Yeah,
that
I don't know. That blew my mind. I understand the logic, but taking him, I think the biggest problem is it wouldn't have been an issue had the Niners taken him seventh, eighth, ninth overall. But I think it was the fact that what they sent in the package to trade up to draft him.
yeah,
Because didn't they trade up for the third overall pick?
yeah,
Yeah, that was what I was like. I mean, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But like I said,
yeah.
I don't think he wins the job back though. I think Purdy's earned it at this point, right?
I think at the very least you have to present it as a competition. You
Yeah,
can't give it to him outright because you put so much stock into Trey Lance. You can't just be like, "Oh, it's no question." I personally think that if they do decide they want to go with Brock Purdy, they absolutely have to trade Trey Lance away
yeah,
because you can't draft someone that high, giving up so much for them, go in another direction, and then let him sit on your bench and go away for nothing. You have
true.
to find a QB needy team that is willing to give you even a second round pick for him.
Yeah,
Because then at least you can say, all right, we tried the experiment, didn't work out. We got something back for him. We have a good option in his replacement. And then at least it's not a total loss. But the other, like I was saying earlier, 49ers are a big rumor for Tom Brady.
yeah,
They
they
were his
are.
favorite team growing up.
Yeah,
Good offensive line, great weapons, great defense, great coach. Like, he's from California. So
the Niners, the Raiders,
the Raiders are another big one. Josh McDaniels, he's got a
what a
great
fucking
relationship with
bum.
him.
What a fucking
Yeah.
bum.
They're a confusing one. They have no excuse to be as bad as they were. They have such
Well,
a good offensive team. Their
from
defense is
being a
not good,
casual
but
yeah, from being a casual fan and reading a lot of like other people's opinions on things, Josh McDaniels is not well liked. It seems like
not as a head
from
coach.
yeah,
He's a fantastic offensive mind and like offensive coordinator. As a
not a good
head
head
coach,
coach.
he's tried it multiple times and it hasn't worked out. And this time he really has no excuse
Yeah,
because
I mean they had a
they
talented
have
roster.
they have four guys as weapons on offense that could reasonably make the Pro Bowl in any given year.
Yeah, Darren Waller, Devontae Adams, Derek
Hunter
Carr,
Renfro.
and
Hunter Renfro is one of the best like slot receivers in the league.
oh, that's right.
And then their running back, Josh Jacobs, is like a
Best.
bruising. Like he was one of the best running backs in the league this year,
You think
statistically.
Derek Carr's the problem there?
No,
And they're trading him away. I saw they're
mean,
trading him away, and they're going to
I
cut him if they can't find a trade partner. Why the fuck
I
did anyone
don't
trade for him?
I don't think you would trade for him so he doesn't have the option.
I know.
Because if you want him badly, then you don't let it go to free agency. You give up something to get him,
Right.
so he has to come to your team. But
Sounds so
I
fucked up that way.
Yeah, but
We're not giving you a choice, asshole. You're playing for us.
But also, it could be viewed as like, we want you more than these other teams.
That's true.
Like, we're gonna go get you because we want you that badly.
Where do you think he goes?
But I have fucking no idea, dude. This offseason is gonna be so weird.
So the Bears are trading. They're going to trade their pick, right? Their first round pick, their first overall pick.
In my personal opinion, if they're smart, they will.
There's no reason for them. Like, because the number 1 and 2 overalls are going to be Stroud and Bryce Young, without a doubt, right?
Well, apparently, there's a former NFL executive that thinks that they should trade Justin Fields for a huge haul and then take Bryce Young. I personally would absolutely not do that because it is so dangerous to bet on quarterbacks. Like, you truly, outside of absolute unicorns like friggin' Trevor Lawrence,
right?
You never know. People were so down on Herbert. People thought Patrick Mahomes was a project. People thought Lamar Jackson should switch to running back.
And Josh Allen was hated for his first 2 years, right?
Yeah, and reasonably so, because initially he really struggled.
Yeah.
They thought he's a big dude with a big arm that has no accuracy. And he's going to be like...
Well...
he's going to be like essentially a friggin' shitty Brett Favre.
And now he's like arguably the best quarterback in the NFL.
It's Patrick Mahomes, and it's not close.
Well, I mean, yeah, true.
It's so
you got a point.
Dumb, dude. Like, really, Patrick Mahomes has the LeBron James problem where he's so consistently good and so consistently better than everyone else that it gets boring and people want to say someone else is better.
That's like kind of what I said Josh Allen for.
Yeah, if you are believing, like if you are following to the T what it should be, LeBron James should have 10 MVP awards.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't because people want a narrative.
Same with Mike Trout.
People want new. Yeah, exactly.
It's called voter fatigue? That's what they call it.
Yeah. Or like excellence fatigue even. Like just like people want something new. They want the next best guy. They want a different story if someone had a great year. Like in all reality, Patrick Mahomes by the end of his career should have fucking 8 MVPs if he keeps doing what he's doing.
He'll probably win it this year though, right?
He should. I don't see why he wouldn't.
I'm gonna look at
crazy to give it to anybody else.
I'm gonna look at the betting odds because that's usually how you can tell who's at least the favorite.
He's the favorite by a margin. Yeah, because like the other
is
people,
he is the negative 7,500. Holy shit.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is another name that gets thrown around, but
he's 4th on this list.
Yeah, he hasn't had all good games. He's I think missed some games.
It's Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Hurts, and Jefferson. But gets after Hurts. It's negative 750 for Mahomes, plus 600 for Burrow, plus 1,200 for Allen, and plus 15 for Jalen Hurts.
The problem with the MVP award too is it really should be best quarterback award because quarterback is such a valuable position that a player would have to have like if a wide receiver, if Justin Jefferson was going to win MVP, all the quarterbacks would have to have an average year, and he would have to break the receptions record, the yardage record, and the touchdowns record all in the same year.
Like what
in
Cooper Kupp
order.
did almost last year. He was Triple
Yeah,
Crown and had a great year.
he was the leader of all of the categories. He didn't break the records.
That's right.
I'm talking like you have to break the records to get
Which is
MVP.
super unfair, I feel like.
Kind of, but also if you're, I guess, inherently looking at the award, most valuable player, there's no position more valuable than quarterback. Wide
It's at least the
receiver,
one sport that stays true to that name. So I feel like a lot of the other sports, it's not most valuable player, it's just a
best story,
popularity
really.
or a popularity contest.
Yeah. But like, if you are doing a most valuable player award, you have to give it to the most valuable position. Like
Mm-hmm.
wide receiver, not a valuable position. It's valuable. You obviously want good wide receivers, but like if you're going in order, quarterback, pass rush is number 2. Offensive line, like good left tackle, is number 3 for sure. Then maybe you get into like wide receivers and cornerbacks and running backs and all that.
Well,
But like,
become a dime a dozen, and
yeah,
the skill gap between the elite ones and the good ones is huge. But I mean, look at I think Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are a prime example of they lost their best wide receiver in Tyreek Hill, and they're still the number one seed in the AFC, and they make do with what they have. And not saying Travis Kelsey's not a bum. I mean, Travis Kelsey's like probably the best tight end I can think of, at least as a casual fan. I don't know anybody else. George Kittle.
oh, in the league right now,
Yeah.
far and away Kelsey.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Because I was gonna
anyone
say
who says otherwise has a vendetta against him.
the
He
two
is,
names I always hear is Kittle and Kelsey, but Kittle's been hurt. I know the last couple of years.
he's been hurt, and statistically, he just doesn't hold up to Kelsey.
Yeah.
Like Kelsey's a fucking monster.
And
I
Kelsey's a
think.
really good blocker. No,
I
it's
think.
is it other way around? Kittle's a really good blocker, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think statistically, Kelsey will go down as the greatest tight end of all time.
Yeah.
I think
Because who is that right now? Tony Gonzalez?
it's people really alternate between Gonzalez, Gronk, and Kelsey.
No love for my
But
man Antonio Gates.
he's an all-time great. He's on the
Yeah.
top 5, top 10 list, I think.
He just didn't do
But
enough.
now he didn't like. He was good for sure, but I think his story's crazy too. I was just talking to my cousin about this.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't play football in college.
I knew this.
He only played basketball.
Yeah.
And then like I think got to like the Elite 8, like was the best player on his team and led them to the Elite 8, averaging like 16 and 8. And then was just told that he wasn't an NBA player because he was a big 6'4" guy.
Yeah.
And then did tryouts with NFL teams and then fucking got brought on by the Chargers.
I
Like,
love
that's
that.
crazy. He's just a freak athlete. A lot of good tight ends played basketball.
It makes sense.
Yeah. But no, he's definitely up there. But in my personal opinion, here's how I look at it. If in their prime, I was going to have one of those guys for one game, I'm taking Gronk every time.
Me too.
I think he is the prototypical, like, best single game or single season tight end of all time.
Absolutely.
You cannot take away the longevity of Travis Kelsey.
Yeah.
Because especially at a position like tight end where they're so big they get hurt all the time, he's been so good at protecting himself and consistently being available.
Yep.
He's racked up 1,000-yard seasons unlike any other tight end ever. And Gronk was hurt all the time. He missed Super Bowls. He missed seasons. Like,
right.
You can't ignore that. So as far as greatest of all time, you got to give it to Kelsey, in my opinion. Or at this moment, I could still see Tony Gonzalez. But
I'm Tony Gonzalez?
Yes. I could still appreciate someone saying it's Tony Gonzalez, but I think in the end it's going to be Kelsey.
Yeah, I can see that. And we can agree that Jerry Rice is the best receiver of all time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm getting so
not particularly close.
No, I'm getting so tired of people being like Randy Moss. I love Randy Moss like the next guy, but there's no fucking comparison in my mind.
I
There's a comparison, but it's not like it really starts and ends rather quickly. It's the same thing like people who when I say who's the best football player of all time, then Tom Brady is not the first answer. Come on. What are we doing?
well, that one,
It's Tom Brady.
I think it's Tom Brady, but it depends on the argument you're trying to make.
If you're talking
Because
like Lawrence
if
Taylor,
yeah, like if you're
yeah,
talking pure dominance and you're talking about like at their position, what's the gap between them and the person behind them? It could be
Lawrence
Lawrence
Taylor.
Taylor.
Yeah, I can do that.
Or it could be Jim Brown. Because way back when, the
I don't know
gap
enough about him.
between he was a running back for the Cleveland Browns
I know
in
who he
the
was. I just
very,
don't know
very,
enough about him.
very if you go back and look at his stats and look at
Yeah.
his awards and records compared to everyone else at the time, he was miles ahead of everyone else.
Yeah. I do know he was really
So
good.
so it's one of those tough questions where like it all depends on how you're looking at it. If you're talking about purely statistically awards, winning,
That's what I'm looking
stats that
at.
you've piled
Yeah.
up, it's Tom Brady
Yeah.
outright. He holds like fucking every record under the sun for longevity and career
And the
stats.
MVPs, the Super Bowl
MV,
MVPs. Yeah. I'm crazy.
yeah. So like
I don't think any of the four. I
seven
don't think
Super
any.
Bowls,
Yeah.
I don't think will be touched
I don't think
because
any player in the major four sports in America will come close in our lifetime to even achieving a fraction of that. I mean, the only person I can think of is Steph Curry.
yeah,
If he
maybe
plays long enough and they win another championship, then he's at least in the conversation. But he's still not better than LeBron James.
no, but even then too, like you can make the argument that for one of those championships, he wasn't even the best player on his team.
For two of them,
Yeah,
both the years Durant was there.
yeah. You can never say that about Tom Brady.
Yeah,
He captained the team to every like there were guys that made big plays, but no one's gonna say like if you were drafting players off that team, he was the
yeah,
first pick on every team.
yeah. I agree.
You'd probably take Durant back then over Curry back then.
I would have. I'd take Durant every day.
Yeah. So
Durant's
like
probably the best scorer in I've seen of his size ever. I think he's probably the most pure scorer I've ever watched in the NBA.
yeah, he's crazy.
He's got such a pretty
Po-
shot and he's so much
possibly
taller.
possibly soon to be eclipsed by friggin' Luca. That dude's a
Dude,
freak show.
that dude does some shit every night. That you know what's
It's
the craziest
crazy.
thing? So the night that the whole thing with DeMar Hamlin happened,
That was
Donovan,
wild.
yeah, that was insane.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell got overshadowed, poor
He
guy.
dropped 71 points. I had no idea because Bleacher Report, for like out of respect, didn't push any other headlines for the entire night because they
Dude,
just I get it.
and
Like there's a medical emergency.
that day was fucking crazy. Like, did you hear about the other stuff that happened?
I don't think so.
Fucking Ken Block, the
That's right. Yeah, I didn't hear
rally
about
driver,
that. He
died in
passed
a
away.
snowmobile accident. Fucking, there's a video of Dana White hitting his wife out at a club.
And then didn't
Like,
the Marvel actor who played Hawkeye, he got put in the hospital too.
yeah, in
Yeah.
this fucking snowplow accident trying to help. Like, that day was insane.
Yeah,
and
ran
it was
him
all
over.
overshadowed by this one thing, which it should be because that was fucking
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah,
But and
I like go on Facebook and I see the NBA's like recap the Cleveland Cavaliers game that featured 71 points from Donovan Mitchell. I figured it meant Donovan Mitchell and somebody else. So I'm like, oh, that must have been a good game. So I looked on it and I'm like, Donovan Mitchell had 71 fucking points and I didn't hear about it till right now?
yeah, no, that's absolutely insane. I feel so bad. And then I think he talked about it in his like post game presser.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just
Like,
talked about like the DeMar Hamlin thing. Like he didn't want to talk
no,
about his game.
that's what I mean. Is
Yeah.
like I think in his post game presser, he's like, obviously all of our thoughts and prayers are with DeMar Hamlin and the Bills and his family and whatever.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, no, like, but like, how sad. Obviously, not to say like it should have been that way since all
Yeah.
of that happened, but like that's
He has the
definitely
highest scoring
still
game.
unfortunate for him
Right.
that he got 71 points on the one night where there could be something that overshadowed it.
The highest scoring game since
Kobe,
Devin
right?
Booker. Devin Booker scored 70 in fucking 2016 or 2017,
That's
but
not
they
71.
lost. They lost, and the Suns were intentionally fouling. They're playing the Celtics, and the Suns were intentionally fouling so D Book could get the ball back and score more, which was fucking stupid. But if you're talking purely like a game that that players scored the amount of points to win, like that was the whole point. Yeah, it was probably the most since Kobe. It actually was the most since Kobe dropped 81 in like '04 or whatever that was.
It's fucking insane.
71 points, man. 70
Yeah,
fucking one.
that's nuts. It's like me in pickup games.
Yeah. I'm probably my stat line in pickup games is probably a good old 3 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 assist.
I
3,
like
6,
it.
and 1. I'm efficient. I might shoot 0 for 14 from the 3-point line, but at least I'm shooting them, right?
I'm generally a um, passing guy for sure. I'll pick off a couple of passes and
Mm-hmm.
then I generally try to set people up. And then if I'm wide open from three, I'll make on a good day 40% of them. On an average day, probably closer to like 30.
I
But
hate being the big guy whenever I play basketball because I love to shoot, and they never let you shoot when you're the tallest guy on the court.
they want you to go down in the paint.
They're like, sit in the paint. That's your place. Okay. Playing post game is so fucking boring. Like I could get the ball every time and just turn around and do a hook shot and get somebody to jump and then score every single time. It's
Yeah,
so fucking boring to me. And I respect the hell out of like NBA centers that do that every night. But like, man, I hate it. I fucking can't
fair
stand it. I'd
enough.
rather fade away and just make a Dirk shot and miss every time than go and just go like, beep.
I'd also imagine for the NBA players, it's a little easier when you're getting paid millions of dollars to do it.
And you're also like 7 feet tall. I mean, at that point, I don't
Yeah,
understand it. But I'm 6'6". In the NBA, I'm a fucking shooting guard on a good day.
yeah,
So it's like I'm technically I'm really undersized to be playing center, but because I live in Maine and everybody here, the average height in Maine's like 5'9". Whenever I play
yeah,
basketball, I'm the tallest person that plays every time almost.
yeah. No, that makes sense.
Not a fun time, but that's okay.
What are we thinking? Moving on to hypotheticals?
If you were a transformer, what car would you turn into?
Oh. Um.
It's a 2004 Dodge Caravan for me.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Like a rundown minivan with like a Burger King wrapper in the back.
I'm going the Wienermobile.
You fucker, that's a
And
good
then
one.
when I transform out to be the Transformer, the wiener's just hanging off the front.
I want to be the
that part of it doesn't change. That stays the same. And
I
then
want
the
to be the
fucking
LL
bun
Bean
comes
Boot.
out to be me. That'd be awesome.
I want to be the Bean Boot.
Yeah, dude. Oh, that's fucking so good. I'm sure
Or
there's.
the fucking Nutmobile. What do they call that thing? The Planter's
Oh, the.
Nutmobile.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm in the Nutmobile, so that way, so whenever I transform, instead of saying like transform, I just go, I'm nutting, and I just transform.
Oh fuck! It in a real sense, as far as
Oh, Dodge Caravan
like
is my real answer.
as far as like
Are you nuts?
for combat purposes,
Dodge Caravan.
maybe like a friggin' tricked
Dodge
out like Land Rover or something, or
That's
like
a
a
fucking
tricked out Jeep or a.
ew,
I'm trying.
ew.
I'm trying to think of what would be a realistic,
Like a
like
Mack truck or a
practical.
fucking like a U-Haul.
Yeah, but a Mack truck or a U-Haul, once you are that, like you're not driving well as a friggin' Mack truck.
Who
Like,
cares?
like I get that's what
Optimus Prime does.
I get it, and that's fine. But also, the Batmobile would be a good one.
The Batmobile would be a good
And
one.
then you transform out to be Batman. I guarantee you that's a toy that exists.
Oh,
That's got it.
there's probably a toy that shoots Batman out like it's nutting.
True. Could be.
Like
An
me when I'm
ejector.
Mr. Planners.
Yeah.
I'm nutting.
He's got the ejaculator seat. Is that what that's called?
It is
The,
now.
the, the seat that propels you out of the vehicle? It's the
Yeah, I
ejaculator
think
seat.
it is. It's the ejaculation technique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So next time you're having a conversation with a woman and you're talking about a car, like in a plane when they get out of a plane in an emergency, you got to say, yeah, when they ejaculate out of a plane.
Yeah. Where's the ejaculate button? I gotta click it so I can bring it.
Yeah, I got to go ejaculate to the bathroom.
Oh shit.
I'll get you a date probably.
Oh yeah.
LOL, they got those out here for. That made me laugh so fucking hard, by the way.
What's that?
That message that you sent me, that's what I was saying. Like, LOL, they got those out here.
Oh my god.
Dude, I honestly, I laughed out loud. That was so fucking funny.
I sat there for a while after I read that and
just like, I hate it.
Like, it was one of those like moments where I like turned it and thought about myself, and I was like, where am I? What am I doing right now?
Can I read it?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
So Seth sends me this Wednesday at 10:20 at night. So it's a text between him and a girl that you met on a dating app. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
because you literally, yeah. So this girl says, I'm sure. What brought you out here? So Seth's response was, oh, I'm sure the same thing as everybody else. I love skiing, experience in a big city. Wanted to live out west for a bit. All 4 major sports are out here. Just a lot. You know, that's a good answer. Making conversation.
Yeah, and a lot of different ways the conversation could go, because you can pick any one of those and be like, oh yeah, I like that too. But
this girl's response was, LOL, well, those are all here.
No shit.
So Seth's response to me, he goes in all caps, yeah, no shit, bozo. That was the question.
What the fuck?
He goes, fuck dating apps, bro. I'm fucking done.
The second she texted me that, I deleted the dating app. I was like, because I'd had like 2 or 3 people say like, oh, just give it a chance. Like, just try it out. And I was like, fine, I'll fucking try it.
Yeah.
And I decided I'll try it, and then whenever I feel like I just don't want to do it anymore, I'll stop. Mm-hmm. If that's, I talk to one person and I'm like, I don't really like this, and stop, great. If that's like, I go on a few dates and then I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't want to do this, that's fine.
Yeah.
That is all it took. Is that
LOL,
girl
well, those are all
saying
here.
That, I was like, nope.
Did you ever respond to her, or did you just leave it?
No. That's
you just left
right
it?
there. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I would have done.
What the fuck?
I got a good one. I'm not gonna embarrass you. I'm gonna also embarrass myself here, because
that's not embarrassing for me.
I mean, it's not.
I was doing my best.
You were. It's kind of just
fuck?
It's a slap. It's a slap to the dick, I feel like, because it's like, yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, but
so I had plans to hang out with this girl, right? And never did. Never did. So I get a text. We're supposed to hang out at 4:30. Get a text at 4 p.m. She's like, I'm going to be honest. I'm super anxious to hang out with you. And I don't know why. Because whenever I talk to you, it's not awkward or anything. I just think I'm terrified to even hang out with anyone after my ex. And I said, no, I get it. Like, I feel the same way. I understand. I was like, is there anything I can do to help? Like, I'll wear a costume to be ridiculous, thinking that might help. She goes, I don't know what could help. I'm trying to hype myself up. I just can't. Really enjoy talking to you. I think I'm just not healed enough to hang out with someone new. I would love to keep talking to you, though, until I am ready, because I can tell you I really enjoy talking to you. And I said, that's understandable. I appreciate you communicating that with me. That sounds like a great plan to me. That was last Friday. I have not spoken to this woman since then.
She left it unread?
Yeah. Never
and she hasn't answered, and her last text message to you is, I would like to keep talking to you.
I fucking quote, open phone. And I fucking quote was, I really enjoy talking to you. I just am not healed enough yet. I would love to keep talking until I am ready, though, because I can tell you I really do enjoy talking to you. And I just said, that sounds like a great plan to me.
That's
And
so
I have
awesome.
heard nothing. Nothing.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. And I'm
Dude,
like 95% positive that she fucking blocked me on her Snapchat story, so I can't see it.
that's wild.
And I'm like, okay, like that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, no, I fucking can't
You
do it.
just hate to see it. You
Oh yeah.
really just
Dude,
hate it.
it's such a like I get if you really put the time in, you have a shot at like meeting someone that ends up being fine.
Yeah.
I cannot handle dealing with it right now. Like
Brother, I
it is
uh
so bad. Like the second that happened, I literally sat like I think I was right here on the couch. Like I got that text and I was like just sitting there like what am I doing?
yeah, that was kind of
And then I
uh,
deleted the app and I was like I'm going to readjust my priorities here cuz
So the worst part about this message I got from this girl, I wasn't mad that she canceled. I had figured she was going to because this was the second time she had canceled in as many weeks. I
yeah.
had fully anticipated that I was not going to be seeing this woman. Um, I was pissed off that she waited until 4 o'clock to cancel because I had woken up early on my day off, on my day to work. Like I had to work that night, and I woke up so I could hang out with her, and then I was gonna go. Then I was gonna go to work. So I was running on 4 hours of sleep, and I had just taken a shower. And then she was like, "Yeah." So I was like, "You fucker! You couldn't have just fucking done this like an hour ago when you knew you weren't gonna want to hang out with me. Then, come on, like fuck you, man. Like that was what pissed me off. I wasn't even mad that she canceled. I was fine with it. Like that's like, if you don't want to hang out with me, like I understand, whatever. I'm not mad about it. It's just like I'm mad that you fucking waited until half hour before I was gonna leave my goddamn house.
Yeah. That's rough.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some, and I consecutively just lost. I got fucking swept.
Yeah, it happens.
It does. It's fine. I'm
Oh
not. I'm
man.
not sad about it anymore.
And to think this whole conversation stemmed from what Transformer would you be?
I stand by that. I'm nutting.
I like it. I stand by the Wienermobile.
Weena?
Um, if you were put in a position where your family was held hostage and in order for them to be released, you had to film yourself having sex with an animal, what would the animal be?
Oh God. Uh. Fuck, dude. That's an awful question. What the fuck?
Yeah.
uh.
I thought I thought
Um.
I thought of this question last night
Give
in
me an
a
answer.
special headspace.
Give me an answer.
Well, there's a few different ways it could go.
Jesus Christ. Here we
One
go.
one of the things I started thinking about because all that really has to happen is there has to be sex between you and an animal. It doesn't necessarily have to be you fucking the animal. So my thought process was as far as public opinion goes, if you are getting fucked by an animal that you have no power against, at that point it's out of your hands. So
Like
if
a
the
fucking
video
rhinoceros?
yeah, like
What the fuck? No.
if it gets to the point where it's released, you can be like, it's not like I had sex with a golden retriever that was friggin' helpless. Like, I got caught. You know, what was I gonna do? Because I feel like public opinion wise, you're almost viewed as a victim at that point. Like, oh, poor
Ay
guy.
ay
How
ay
awful is
ay
that?
ay
Rather
ay.
than like that dude's horrible. He fucked a friggin' poodle. Fuck that
But
guy.
now you're gonna have trauma, both physical and mentally, from getting destroyed by a much larger than you animal.
Okay, but in the grand scheme of the concept, your family's already been kidnapped. There's trauma there. You already have to have sex with an animal and film it and release it to the public. There's so much trauma there. Whether you're fucking or getting fucked is not going to make the difference in the trauma.
I don't. I'm fucking a mouse. It's just murder it, and who cares?
No, my answer is grizzly bear.
Oh my god!
And then I'm a victim.
So
For I get some sympathy.
you're willingly making yourself an even worse victim.
Yes, because otherwise you're a fucking like disgusting, perverted deviant in the eyes of the public.
I mean, I guess
I'm not going to be the guy that fucked a hamster.
I'm gonna.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
Because you want that on your record? This guy fucked a hamster. How fucked up is that?
Imagine regardless, every time your friends see you, they're gonna be like, "What's up? You fucked a This guy fucked a hamster." Would you rather say this guy fucked a hamster or this guy got butt fucked by a rhinoceros? Come on, bro. Like,
this
guy got taken advantage of by a grizzly bear. You want to see the video?
Oh yeah, dude. And then you can fucking profit off of it. Do TED Talks about like, here's my story.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, oh yeah, dude. Welcome to my TED Talk. Here's the time I got butt fucked by a grizzly bear. This is my story.
You're gonna make an autobiography. It's just called One Night in Alaska.
Yeah, dude. Fucking ESPN 30 for 30.
What happens when one man and one grizzly bear meet in a secluded part of a forest?
His sphincter was never the same.
If a man gets fucked in a forest by a grizzly bear and nobody's around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Yes, we can watch the video. You'll hear the sounds.
Yeah. Ah!
Dude, imagine
I'm doing this for you, Mom.
Oh, fuck.
I think a better answer is to find an animal that nobody really cares about, like dying, like a snake, right? You could, nobody would be mad if you like.
How would you fuck a snake?
I don't know.
Like take the fangs out and stick it in its mouth.
Might feel pretty good. You never know.
That's true. The jaw unhinges.
You might never know, man. Maybe you find something new about yourself.
The jaw unhinges. Not that it would have to, but it could.
Maybe you find something new about yourself. Oh, shit. Ultimate confidence breaker is when you go to face fuck a snake and it doesn't fit in. You're like, man, I have taken a wrong turn somewhere.
Yeah, it doesn't have to unhinge its jaw for you.
The snake even looks at you and it's like, is that it? If you ever find yourself with a snake saying, "Is it in?" You've gone wrong.
Yeah, dude.
If I had $1 for every time I've heard that in my life, I'd be a fucking rich man.
So what's your official answer?
A mouse or a snake or a hamster or a skunk.
Yeah,
I'd fuck a skunk.
Dude, you want to talk about fucking trauma?
Who cares, man?
Fucking sprays you and you got to keep going.
Actually, I think I'd pick an animal with the best comedic factor, so that way I could make the video profitable. People like, this fucking guy fucked a giraffe. That might be a good one. A giraffe. This guy fucked a giraffe.
Dude, you're on top of a fucking ladder, like fucking going to town.
But I would want the giraffe to be like just running in circles. Like I don't want it to be like tame. I want it to just be like wild. So it's like, what the fuck's going on?
That's awesome.
So I might get fucking kicked in the back of the neck.
Now I'm trying to think about the comedic factor angle. What would be funny to fuck?
A bull. If it was like a bull, like a rodeo bull.
Yeah, you hop on the saddle and like slide back and just fucking. You're still hanging on to the fucking ropes.
Well, think about it. If you could actually market the video that's like you're not fucking it and you just get away with fucking it because you're doing something that's ridiculous, like a jackass prank, would it really be that bad?
Yes.
Yes. But
yes, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know what happened, guys. I was riding a bull. My pants fell down. I fucking slid down to the back and still hung on.
Like, I took a Cialis like 6 hours ago. I don't know.
It's the craziest thing.
This happened on Black Mirror. Did you ever see that show?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an episode where that prime minister guy, his daughter was kidnapped and it wasn't real, and then you had to fuck a pig live on air.
Yeah.
I might carry the tradition and fuck a pig then.
That would be pretty funny.
What would feel the best? That's a bad question to ask.
Yeah, but you asked it, so now we're going down the fucking...
I mean, I don't even know where to even begin.
What would feel the best? At that point, you got to go... The size has to be reasonable. It's got to be comfortable.
It's got to be a dog, right?
Golden Retriever, probably. Something fluffy.
That's terrible.
Cuddly. I mean...
The next Air Bud film. Straight to DVD.
Yeah, fucking...
Air Bud gets fucked.
Yeah. Fucking air butt, dude.
Strapping young man fucks air bud.
It's definitely a fucked up question, but if you're taking away the fucked up nature of the question and just looking at it objectively, I mean, golden retrievers are cuddly. They'll still love you forever. It's not like that. It's not going to be a deal breaker for them. It'll just be a deal breaker for literally everyone else on Earth.
Face down, ass up.
Yeah.
Air down, air down, butt up.
Holy fuck.
I feel like we have to like sometimes just apologize on air.
Yeah, I get that feeling too, but
we're not going to. Fuck your feelings. Yeah. We're not going to apologize.
This is another one of those questions that like someone could just make a clip of me saying like, "Oh, golden retrievers, they'll cuddly, they'll still love you after." Like,
and then me saying, "What feels the best?"
Yeah. Good Lord, dude.
All right, my second one here is if you had to, well, how do you say it? Make whoopee, lay pipe, have intercourse, rumble in the hay with a cartoon character. Who you picking?
It's got to be Jessica Rabbit, right?
I think that's probably the answer you're going to get the most.
I mean,
personally, I'd pick Jimmy Neutron's dad. I mean, mom.
Jimmy's mom.
Carl Weezer's dude. He's got a dumpy, bro.
I pick Carl Weezer.
Bro, that guy's got a fucking tanker. It's gonna sound like thunder.
The problem with this question is that it's very ambiguous how old certain cartoon characters are.
Oh, I don't care. I'm going for a grandmother.
Yeah, but like if you were really trying to answer this question as far as like hot cartoon characters, you don't really know how old they are. Because like
you know who I'm picking? I'm changing my answer.
What's that?
I'm picking Muriel Bagg from the Courage the Cowardly Dog.
I love that. In the rocking chair.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's riding me in that rocking chair. We're breaking that fucking thing.
Well, she probably needs the help of.
Maybe I can kill two birds with one stone. I'll fuck her, and then I'll fuck Courage.
Yeah, you get both questions answered right out of the gate.
Yeah, I'll knock them both out. Look at that.
That's awesome. But like, if I'm truly looking at it, there's like Kim Possible might be a good one, but I don't know how old she is. There's the two girls from friggin' Teen Titans. Don't know how old they are. Because they're Teen Titans, but that could be 19. Or it could be 15.
Kim Possible was 14 in season 1.
Nice. There are a lot of seasons, though.
She was 17 as of season 4.
Yeah, but how many seasons were there?
That is a question I don't have the answer to.
But this is what I'm saying: is cartoon characters are very
a few months shy of 18. So you might catch a case for a few months, then you'll be all right. Yeah.
But also, if you watch Kim Possible and then you were told that she's 25, it wouldn't be. Granted, I know nothing about Kim Possible.
I don't really either. I think a good answer too is the
Lola
fucking
Bunny.
annoying. No, the annoying one from Family Guy. Bonnie, Joe's wife.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's not a bad choice. Or Lois, if that's that kind of picks your
voice. Marge Simpson.
Homie.
I want to grab onto the fucking tower of hair.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. I think it's Jessica Rabbit.
This is a dangerous one.
I think Jessica Rabbit will be the most common one.
Yeah.
Damn, I forgot what Jessica Rabbit looked like.
I'm trying to think of like cartoons from my childhood.
Sandy Cheeks.
I was just thinking that. But again, how old is fucking Sandy Cheeks? Other than she's a squirrel.
She's got to be in her 20s, dude. That's a good one you could fuck. An animal. It's a squirrel.
Yeah.
Oh god, I did not type in Sandy Cheeks. I typed in something much more sinister.
Nice.
That is not what I meant to type in. Let's see how old she was. She died? What?
Poor kid.
It was suicide of Sandy Cheeks. What the fuck? What are we talking about? What are we
What
talking
are you
about here?
looking at, dude?
I
What
don't
did you look
know.
up?
I just
Good
typed in Sandy
Lord.
Cheeks.
Holy fuck.
Wait, is this a real person? I don't
That's
know what
fucking
the
wild.
fuck. I don't know what the fuck that was, but she's a 36-year-old scientist. You're fine.
Perfect.
She's 36. Man, she's bad for 36. Mrs. Pearl. Dude, Miss Pearl's fucking bad, bro. Are you kidding me? All right, Miss Puff. Sorry, I got Pearl is the daughter. Is Mr. Krabs' daughter?
Yeah. Which, how old is she? Because that could be dangerous.
No, I wasn't talking about her. I'm talking about Mrs. Puff.
Um,
Mrs. Puff is bad, bro. Like for real. How old is she? Tell me she's like 50.
You could do it in the car with her too, like the police officer girl we were talking about earlier.
I mean, she's 64. Fuck yeah. That's what I've been saying. I'm trying. Oh, real quick, we should talk about our New Year's resolutions. I'll go first. Mine's to get a girl pregnant.
I like it. I'm jumping on board. That's also mine.
Fuck you. You can't take mine.
You swayed me.
Getting a girl pregnant. That's gonna be the fun farm. We're gonna have little fun farmies running around.
My goal for 2023 is to have a 2023 that lets me in 2024 have as many children as Nick Cannon.
Man, you're gonna be having to have a lot of sex with a lot of cartoon characters
and animals.
We're taking the fun farm too literally at this point.
Oh, it's a fun farm, all right. Good Lord, dude.
No, yeah, I have 3 resolutions. To get a girl pregnant is the main one.
Nice.
To be a worse person is the second one, and to be unreasonably angry at something each month.
That's awesome. What is it this month?
I got really mad at a girl that works at the hospital for some reason. She just said hi, and I said, I'm fucking mad at you. And she said, why? And I said, don't know.
New Year's resolution.
Picked the wrong day. Picked the wrong day to say hi. Sorry, Amanda. Awesome. My fault.
That's great.
Actually, no, I don't feel bad because that's me being a worse person. Look at that.
You're doing what you want, too.
I should get her pregnant. I should call her.
Yes.
I should call her.
You should respond to the girl that hasn't responded to you and be like, can I get you pregnant?
So I'm actually going to I think I'm randomly going to text her one day at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon and be like, hey, I'm in the parking lot of like High Tide. Are you coming? And she answers. She's like, what? I'm like, awesome. Yeah, you said you'd meet me here. What the fuck are you talking about?
That's great.
I think I'm going to do that here pretty soon.
You should. I think it would go well.
Probably before the summer.
She's probably before the summer. Ready and looking for people to spend time with. So
yeah, I should just text her. Can I get you pregnant? ?
She seems like the kind of person that would love spontaneity.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think if you just showed up at her house, I think she'd love that.
And she would really love to keep talking to me. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I could talk to her in person while I'm getting her pregnant.
Well, that's part of her being spontaneous. Is she's like, oh, I'd love to keep talking to you. No talking. Like, you just never know what she's going to do. She's so quirky. Well,
come on, bro. I mean, that sounds like a good plan to me. Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of makes you feel like a piece of shit sometimes, but
no, come on.
I don't care enough about this person to be offended, but I kind of think about, like, if I did, that's a really shitty thing to do. It kind of is, man. Like,
what she did?
Yeah, what she did, not me.
Oh, I thought you were talking about showing up to her house.
Oh, no, I'm doing that tomorrow.
Fine.
Tomorrow I'll go.
And I was like, that's fine. Yeah, no, what she did, that is fucking hysterical from my perspective. But
it's funny to me, too.
Absolutely, it is a interesting decision to make.
I think I'd be more offended if I cared more. Yeah, like if we didn't talk for that long.
But part of it is, I think, especially in the early stages, ghosting is a part of online dating. Yeah. Because it's an easy way to cut things off. It's an easy way to.
I didn't meet this girl on online dating. I know her in real life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is way. How did you meet her then? That she doesn't want to hang out with you. But
I don't know.
But like, where did you meet her?
Oh, work.
Gotcha.
Which is why I won't do some of these things I'm saying until I don't work at this place I work at or she leaves, either one.
Yeah.
Because that would be really uncomfortable because we're friends with a lot of the same people.
That's so much more.
And okay,
Yeah, that changes the whole thing.
the worst part about this that I've left out was so we didn't talk for a couple days, and then I saw her at work, and she wouldn't stop talking to me, which I was being cordial. I'm not going to be a dickhead. Then she Snapchatted me and was like, "It was so good to see you. You look really good." And I was like, "What the fuck are we doing here, bro?" And then we started talking more, and then we made a plan to go on a date. It was like I clarified that it was a date. It was that one I sent you. Remember that text I sent you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was her. So it was not just like, which honestly, if I personally think that um, she was being, I think she was just letting me down easy and being nice about it, which I'm totally okay with. Like, I get it.
And in her defense, you do look good.
Thank
So
you. You see my new haircut, by the way?
it's nice.
Thank you. Would have been nice for you to tell me that like a month ago when I first got it, but that's okay. Anyway,
Do you like my haircut?
I do. It looks really good.
Thanks, man.
You look good. I might pick you as a cartoon character.
Dude, I need the beard to come back.
It is jarring. When I first saw you like that.
I haven't not had a beard at all. Probably since like around the time I was like early at UMF.
I was gonna say because I feel like I remember when I first met you, you were clean shaven, but then
yeah, but then once I did grow it out a little bit, like since then I've had
Yeah.
some form of.
So
I've cut it tight,
yeah,
but like for this company party I had, it was like an '80s party, and I went as Larry Bird,
yeah,
and I shaved everything but the shitty mustache because like
Yeah.
that's the Larry Bird shitty mustache.
of course.
Yeah, and
So
it's
I
been
can't grow like a
weird.
full beard, right? I get like this. This is like almost a year and a half of growth right here, to be
Huh.
honest. And I get like it's starting to finally sort of shape itself a little bit. Every once in a while, I'm like, I should shave it, and then I think about it, and I'm like, fuck no, dude. It's become too much of a staple of my face, and I feel like I look at
don't
pictures of me without it, and I'm like, I can't. I look
yeah
weird.
don't do it. You won't like it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm very much, in case you didn't know this about me, a for the bit person.
Yeah,
So
you are very much so.
yeah. So once it was like mentioned to me, like, oh, you definitely should shave the beard and do the Larry Bird mustache, I was like, I have no choice but to do that. So I had to do it, and I did it,
Yeah.
and it was great for the period of time I was Larry Bird.
Yeah.
And I feel like outside of being in a Larry Bird jersey, it was like I feel like people might have been uncomfortable around me for a little bit there. Like, because I didn't end up. I was super torn between like once I got out of the Larry Bird night, buzzing the mustache too, and just letting it all come back in. But I had multiple people. Actually, Aurora was one of the main people that she was like, "Oh my god, I love the mustache. It looks so good on you. You really need to keep it until the beard comes back in." Like
Yeah.
she just absolutely loved it. So thank you for your support, Aurora.
Yeah.
But then a few other people too, like my buddy Egan was very, very, very aggressive
The
in
Eagster.
my I have a fucking Snapchat from him that actually was the Snapchat that pushed me over the edge to keeping it. So this is the Snapchat from him. I'm going to read it for you real quick. You ready for this?
Yep.
So I said, I'm thinking about trimming the mustache. He said, no, what the fuck is wrong with you? Don't you fucking touch that hot stashy, bitch baby. That thing is there to stay. What did it ever do to piss you off? A mustache is a gift from God himself, and to throw that away is a sin. Burn in hell, you mustacheless bitch baby. Fuck you. Maybe that mustache should get rid of you, you worthless little bitch baby. Shave that thing, you're fucking the head man. Fuck you, bitch baby.
Oh my god, he went in on you, dude.
Needless to say, I kept the mustache. But yeah, so I kept it around, and it's slowly the beard's starting to come back in a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was torn about it because I definitely felt like it's a little light to be standalone.
Yeah,
when I have the whole beard, it's not too bad. It's fine, but
yeah. So I like on the camera, I can't really see. Like I have what I think is like a noticeable, like kind of a mustache up here. It's light, but it's noticeable. But I can't see it in the little camera on my screen here. But it is there.
Yeah, mine is like light blonde.
Yeah.
So like
See,
I
mine.
have a decent amount. It's not great, but I have a
Yeah.
decent amount of hair. It's just so light that it just blends right in.
Yeah. See, I got the red, sort
Yeah.
of reddish facial hair. So mine up here is that color. But my hair does not grow in right here.
I get solid, like just above the jaw. It all connects and it all grows really well. I need it to come up on the face a little bit more, and then
Kind
I
of like
need
what I've got
the
going on
mustache
right
to
here.
fill out. Yeah, but
Yeah.
your facial hair can continue to develop into your like late 20s.
Yeah.
Like that was one thing my dad was telling me one time because I was like complaining about my beard, and he's like, "That's pretty much what mine looked like until I was like 27." And
So I'm
he's like,
starting
and
to
then I
see.
could really grow into a big beard.
So
So
I'm starting to see like it's starting to kind of very very slowly grow like here.
yeah,
So if it could just fill in right in here, I'd be so fucking happy to
oh
just
yeah.
because right
Now,
now like it's patching in.
what I really want to do is grow out a like long beard.
Hmm.
My problem is that I look like I churn butter and make furniture when I do that.
Like an Amish man.
Yeah, because it just is all below the chin.
Yeah.
So right now, when I have it like a little long, it looks good, and then I let it grow out, and it's a problem.
Yeah.
But once it comes up onto my face a little bit more, I'm definitely going like just fucking let it go.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
I mean, hopefully 2023 is a good year of facial hair growth for the both of us.
That's my New Year's resolution, is to get my beard to come in.
That's mine too. So you stole mine. I'm stealing yours.
Perfect. We're both gonna get people pregnant once our beards come in and we become attractive.
Maybe that's how we have to get. Maybe that's how we get our beards to come in. Is we just have to get a girl pregnant.
Yeah. Our beards come in when we come in.
I love you. I love you. I fucking love you. That was good. That was great.
So where are we at with hypothetical questions? Did you ask your second one?
I've asked you both of mine.
Yeah. So I guess all of our questions are friggin' no, your first one wasn't. All of my questions and one of yours is sexual.
I mean, you can fuck a transformer, but we don't have to get into that.
I made it sexual with the Wienermobile, so
you did.
Really, it's kind of all.
We got sex on the brain because our New Year's resolution is going to grow pregnant. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that might be the name of the pod right there. Sex on the brain.
We're so lonely.
All right, my second one is: if every time you came, you had to yell a line from a movie or TV show or sing a line of a song, what would it be?
What's new, pussycat?
Holy fuck. That'd be awesome.
I mean, that's just my initial reaction. From a song. From a movie? I don't even know.
The second I thought of this question, I immediately went to Arnold Schwarzenegger quotes.
Oh, that's fair.
Oh, yeah.
Well, which one? Do you have a specific one?
I have a few. There's one, I forget what movie it is. It's like the movie where he's like something in I forget the movie. But there's a line where he's talking to somebody and he goes, "Who is your daddy and what does he do?" That would be a good one.
So, but you have to exclaim it like you're.
That's true.
Like,
but he's got some good exclamations too.
True.
Like, fucking get to the chopper. That'd
Get
be
to the
fucking.
chopper.
Imagine that. You just fucking bust. You're like, get to the chopper. There's, I think. Oh shit! Are you talking? I can't hear you. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, there you are.
The Borat film.
Oh, that would be good.
I'm trying to look up a quote that I think would be good, and I can't. I can't find one that I'm thinking of. You're you're telling me the man who tried to put the rubber fist in my anus was a homosexual? All right, what's the other one? The turtle one. Yes, one. What kind of dog is this? It's a tortoise. Is it a cat in the hat? No, it's a tortoise in a shell.
I'm trying to think of one-liners that would be good.
What about that's a good one. Cat in the Hat, the fucking movie. There's some good ass quotes in that one.
Yep.
Kind of dog is this? That's a tortoise.
I'm trying to think of ones that like are lines from movies that I love that like might not really make sense, because I feel like leaving the other person in confusion would make me really happy. Like, have you seen Point Break?
No.
There's a part where like so he's basically an FBI agent trying to infiltrate this group of surfers that's robbing banks. And there's just one part where they have him like kidnapped in a van, and it's Keanu Reeves, so obviously everything he says is fucking hilarious. So he's in the van in the back, and he goes, "I am an FBI agent." I'd like to do that one.
I think I would like to pick.
You know what a good one would be?
What
is fucking Goodwill Hunting? How do you like them apples?
How do you like me?
Yeah, dude. You're gone again. I can't hear you. What is happening? Looks like I'm going solo. Oh.
And that'd be because I unplugged my microphone.
That'll do it, huh?
Yeah, that's my fault. I was pulling on the cord and I didn't even realize it. I would probably pick a really long quote. So this one's from Cat in the Hat. So it just says, "Who, me? Why, I'm the Cat in the Hat. There's no doubt about that. I'm a super fundalist feline who's here to make sure that your me line, key line, turpentine, I got nothing. I'm not so good with the rhyme and not really know. Look, I'm a cat that can talk. That should be enough for you people."
And then she gets pregnant.
Yeah, I think that would be the most fun, because every time you just exclaim that, and they're like, so if you're like, I just hook up with anybody that I could have sex with and not tell them. So that way they just think, they're like, every time they tell a story, they're at like a party, like, what's your weirdest sex story? Like, I got you guys beat.
Dude, you know what a great one would be? Is the fucking Scarface. Say hello to my little friend!
Oh, man. That would be a good one.
Holy fuck. I'm sure there's so many good. This is one that, like, really what I should have done is presented it and then let us sit on it for a month.
Yeah.
To watch stuff. Because it's hard to think of, like, quotes.
Yeah.
Like, on the spot that are quick that would apply. But if you really let it sit, we're going to revisit this question in a month.
I was going to say, we should revisit the question and do it like a redo.
I'm going to put it on the back burner.
Because I feel like that would be a really
down,
good one.
Yeah, I'm going to write down some options. Because, like, songs, too. Like, I'm sure I'll be listening to a song at some point here now that we've done this and be like, that's a great one.
Yeah. See, my first one was What's New Pussycat? Because I feel like that would just be fucking amazing.
I feel like the What's New Pussycat has to happen during the lead up. And then as you bust, it's got to be the whoa, whoa, whoa!
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, that's how I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be it for sure.
Yeah. Because then it gives her the moment of like, what the fuck is he doing? And then like the fucking
just like louder than you could be.
Yeah.
Without my hat, I'm just your garden variety 6 foot tall talking cat.
All right, we're gonna revisit that question.
Yeah, or hey, Rhode Island license plate. You never see those. I would want to pick something that was that random. Like you're like, oh, hey, Rhode Island license plate. You never see those. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I do like the idea of, because there's definitely the how do you like me now? How do you like them apples? Say hello to my little friend. Like those all can apply in some way. Like it's not completely nonsensical. There's got to be somewhere somebody's screaming something that.
Or humana. Who is this? That's my mom. Awkward.
Oh my God. You know what would be, what movie would be full of good ones? Is
Which
fucking one? Whiplash.
I've not seen that movie.
It is. I highly recommend it.
I've heard a lot about it.
Such a good movie.
I keep getting recommended the drum scene in that movie on my YouTube, and I don't know why.
Don't watch it until you watch the movie. Because the lead up makes it so good.
I've not watched it yet, so it's been in my recommended for 2 years now. So I don't think that's a concern.
I'm trying to think of quotes from that one. There's one point where he goes, "I will fuck you like a pig." That'd be a good one. Or
it's not from a movie or a song, but it's that Peter Weber, the bowler. He's like, "Who do you think you are? I am." I think that would be good.
I guess just a famous line from Culture could be it, because that is a great one.
Or there's a wrestler that had a hardcore match in a horse stable, and the horse fucking kicked him. And the quote, what he said was, quote, "You fucking horse! I'll kick your fucking ass."
I feel like this came up on another episode.
I think it did.
But I love bringing it back because that is a great one.
So I think if every time you busted a nut, especially inside of somebody, saying "you fucking horse" would get you in a lot of trouble.
Oh yeah.
That's why you have to find women that are horse faces. Is that offensive? Probably.
No. How could that be offensive?
It's not nice.
No, how could that be offensive? It's perfect.
Hey, anybody listening that has a problem with it, I did make a New Year's resolution to be a worse person, so I'm just trying to have a better year.
I've got a great one. Have you seen Step Brothers?
Of course.
John Bonham's playing Moby Dick for real!
Oh shit, I almost just fucking knocked my desk over.
Because it was so funny, I know.
That was...
Dude, dude, imagine fucking blowing a load and then just getting right in your face and screaming, "John Bonham's playing Moby Dick for real."
I can't say this. I'm not going to say this on the podcast because it uses a word that I don't use. But from Superbad, I'm trying to think of... There's one I'm thinking of that I always laugh at, but it uses a gay story that I don't say. And it's in the context of Jonah Hill yelling it. It's just much. I'm trying to find the actual quote, and I can't find it. But that would probably have a lot of...
Superbad is such a good movie.
I think it's my favorite comedy movie of all time.
It's top 3 for me.
Like, that's a movie that I can still watch every day, like every year, and still laugh at like it's the first time I'm watching it.
It's so tough, though, because there's like Dumb and Dumber's got to be up there.
I hate that movie.
Really?
It annoys the fuck out of me. I'm not a big Jim Carrey guy.
I love Jim Carrey.
I love Jim Carrey in movies that aren't like that. Like, I love Jim Carrey in The Truman Show.
Great.
Is that what it's called? Truman Show?
Yep,
yeah.
The Truman Show.
Great movie.
Have you seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
I have not. I've heard it's really good, though.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah, I do want to watch that. He also had another movie that was called, like, was it Catch-22 maybe? Or no, it wasn't. It was something with a number that he was like obsessed with a number, and it was like trying to find the murderer who murdered his wife
or something.
Yeah, he tried to trying to find out who murdered his wife.
Yeah,
that was a really good movie. I haven't watched that since I was in high school, but
yeah, no, he can
the Grinch,
do that. Like he can turn it on. He can turn it on and become a real actor. You know who might be my favorite actor of all time?
Which one?
Is Robin Williams.
Yeah.
He had Oh, to go back to my question, imagine busting a nut and going, "Good morning, Vietnam."
Oh,
But he's another one that like can be the funniest guy in the room, but then he turns it right around and does Goodwill Hunting and
one of
has
my
like
favorite movies of all time.
his monologue on the park bench in Goodwill Hunting is my favorite movie scene of all time,
Yep,
hands down. It is
absolutely
the
incredible.
best monologue ever. It's my favorite movie of all time.
Hmm.
That's my favorite scene of all time. That's my favorite movie quote of all time.
Yep.
Like, oh my god, it is so good.
Whenever I talk about my favorite movies of all time, that movie is always in the discussion every single time.
That one's my outright. Like I don't have to think about it. Outright my
Really,
favorite movie of all time, hands down, no question.
I don't think it's my.
Decent
I
chance
don't.
it always will be.
I don't think it's my favorite. It's definitely. It comes up. Like I feel like whenever I talk about my favorite movie of all time, I always mention it, saying this is what I think about. But I always usually go with The Dark Knight. It's a boring answer, but there's a reason why it's everybody's favorite.
It's not though, because fucking Heath Ledger in that movie, that's one of the best
Uh,
performances ever.
I say it's a boring answer because it's not. It's a very popular opinion. It's not
Dude,
like a
I always go
exactly
back to
though.
this. There's a reason it's popular. Like I
Yeah.
always hate when people I get it if someone is very clearly like all of their favorite things are just all of the big things
Hmm.
because they don't really care. But if
Yeah.
someone is genuinely like, that's my favorite movie, and someone else is like, oh, ha, just like everybody else, like,
Right.
no, there's a reason that it's so popular.
That's why I
Like,
always
that's a
say is
great
like,
answer.
and Good Will Hunting is probably a pretty common answer too. I feel like
Yeah, it could be. There's a fucking reason for it.
exactly. It's a phenomenal fucking movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my favorite movies. I always go with. I don't like to say an individual favorite because it depends on the year. I just watched The Dark Knight like 2 weeks ago, so that's what's in my brain. I still would probably say that movie even if I hadn't seen it recently, just because that's what I feel like. I saw that movie when it came out. I didn't realize how lucky I was then. I was in Atlantic City when The Dark Knight came out, and I saw it in IMAX. It was the first IMAX movie I ever saw. And
That's awesome.
I got to witness that in IMAX, which was fucking awesome. I was 11. I was an 11-year-old kid, and so that movie came out when I was a kid. I saw it then multiple times. Great movie. I love the performance from not only Christian Bale but also, especially, obviously, Heath Ledger. Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon is phenomenal. Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox, and you have the great performance from the always incredible Michael Caine as Alfred,
Yeah.
and Aaron
Michael
Eckhart,
Caine.
and that was really good actually.
Thanks, dude.
And
I fucking love his voice. I love hearing
yeah,
him talk.
yeah, I'm like my I don't know if I can do it. Hey, it's Michael Caine. Michael Caine here.
It's Michael Caine.
Hey, it's
Dude, that
Michael Caine.
fucking every time, dude. You're so spot on with your impressions every fucking
I
time.
know. I appreciate it. That should be my new career path.
It should be.
I'm an impressionist.
Holy fuck.
But
That's awesome.
Aaron Eckhart plays really. He's Two-Face in that movie. He plays a really good role too. The
Really
only
good.
character I fucking hate is Maggie Gyllenhaal. I cannot stand her.
Yeah.
She plays Rachel. I don't like
But
her as an actress. She's not bad. She doesn't take away from the movie, but like, so they had Katie Holmes in the Batman Begins, and then
yeah.
she went. I don't know what the fuck happened to her, and then she dropped out, so they had to replace her with Maggie Gyllenhaal. So
I
it's
think
not really their fault.
I think the other part about it too could be like I don't think it's a role with an incredible amount of depth.
No.
Like it's not like Two-Face, you have a ton of depth. There's so much to that character.
Yeah.
Like same with the Joker, same with like a lot
Batman.
of
Yeah.
the like and when you have a cast like that where everyone's coming out hot, everyone's at a 10, like
Someone's gonna be at the bad. Someone's gonna have to be the
that
worst.
yeah, that movie, if you had other people doing badly, or not even badly, but like if you had average performances, if it was an average Batman film, she
Yeah.
probably would have fit right in. The problem is the rest of the movie is perfect. So if she's not perfect, which it's hard to be in that role, because like how can you be? She's like essentially for a lot of the movie just like the almost
She's
damsel
just
in
there.
distress role.
Yeah, she's just there.
Yeah. So like, how do you really make that performance great?
And like I said, she doesn't take away from the movie. Like I don't hate her performance. I don't think she's a great actress, and I think it can be like her expressions for me is what does it. Like the scene that really always kind of takes me out of it a little bit is when she's pissed at Bruce for not admitting to being Batman and letting Harvey take the fall, and she goes to Alfred and is like, Alfred, she's like, he's letting him take the fall for this, and I'm like, it just for me it seems so like overacted, and I'm just like, it doesn't seem genuine. Like that's not the emotion you would be feeling.
Yeah.
But that's the only part in the movie that I'm always like, ugh. But you're talking about a 30-second clip in a 2.5-hour movie. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. So I get it. I agree.
But the Iron
with your
Giant,
take,
have you seen
but
the Iron Giant before?
not in a while, but I've seen it.
Favorite movie of all time that's animated.
Yeah, there's a
We'll
few
never be
movies
close.
like that like they're
Monsters
just
Inc. would be a close second, but it's not close. I mean,
as far as
the
what?
animated movie, my favorite animated film.
Oh yeah,
It's Iron Giant, Monsters Inc., Toy Story 2. Probably
I'm
the
not a
three I can think
huge
of.
animation guy, and I
I'm not
really
either.
never have been.
I was
So
when I
a
was a
lot of
kid.
that, I think I was as a kid as much as everyone was as a kid.
Yep.
But once I got to the point where I wasn't watching what my parents put on, I was watching stuff on my own.
Yeah.
I almost exclusively watch live action stuff, like even TV shows.
I did
Like
too.
recently, I rewatched Avatar: The Last Airbender, but that's because I watched it so much as a kid that it was almost like
The series?
just yeah,
Yeah.
that it was just like um what's the word I'm looking for? Nostalgic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I like that one, I think, is because it ties into my childhood and I remember it,
Yeah.
and then like I can appreciate it now. And
That's the
then
Iron Giant for me, but I've also so I just found this out 2 weeks ago, and it adds a whole nother layer to that movie for me. So do you remember the premise of the Iron Giant enough?
I could use a refresher.
So it's basically the movie is about this big ass a metal man essentially that crashes down from outer space, and he's able to understand English and he can speak English as he's being trained. Like so, this little kid Hogarth is training him on how to speak English. He's housing him at this warehouse. This character Dean, and then the army finds out about him and they think he's a villain. So there's a one character in it, the antagonist, who is feeling slighted by he wants to be more important than he is. So they have a nuclear warhead aimed at the giant, and they think he's dangerous. And then because he does end up later in the movie transforming into this big gun, and he's just because he thinks that Hogarth, his little kid, died because he goes unconscious after he gets shot out of the air, and he goes on a rampage, and then Hogarth ends up stopping him because the whole premise of the movie is essentially ties into like Superman, where they're like, you are who you choose to be. So Hogarth says that to him, and he's like, you're not like you don't want to be this gun, so choose. So he brings him back to the shore. The army general is like, stand down. This other antagonist grabs the walkie-talkie and is like, launch the missile. So the nuke's coming down on these people in this small Maine town, which is another reason why I love that movie. It's set in Maine,
I didn't
and
know that.
yeah, I think they use a fictitious place called, is it Rockport, which I don't think is a real place. If it is, it's not the same place they use.
Gotcha.
Rockport is a real place, so it's Rockland they use then, which is also a real place. It's something like that, regardless. And so the giant ends up sacrificing himself at the end of the movie he meets the warhead in space and ends up, but it's a happy ending. So I found out 2 weeks ago that the director, Brad Bird, his sister was the victim of a murder suicide. Her husband or boyfriend shot and killed her, and then he killed himself. So Brad Bird sat down and decided that the film, he said, what if a gun had a soul and didn't want to be a gun. And that's how the movie came to be. Which makes that movie, which already to me is a super emotional film because it's just the message. It's a very deep movie for a kid's movie. Well, but knowing that's the backstory makes that movie 30 times more special to me.
Yeah. And there's kids movies like that they're targeted at kids, but are made in a way that adults can at least appreciate it. Because there's definitely kids movies that are kids movies, and I'm sure most adults fucking hate them at this point.
Yeah.
But that's probably one that like I bet you if I asked my parents about that movie, that's probably one of the ones that they were like, oh yeah, I liked that one. Like that was good. But,
well, I think it sucks because so that movie was a box office failure because Warner Brothers didn't put money into it because their last animated movie fucking flopped. So they thought this one would flop too. So it failed hard at the box office. And it didn't really become a cult classic until the mid 2000s. And now it's like you ask people from our age, they're all going to say that they love that movie and they probably have a newfound love for it since they've graduated high school or middle school or college. Like that movie was a movie I've watched since I was a baby, my mom said. Like it came out in 99 and I think she said that we had it in 2000. So I've had it pretty much the 23 years I really existed since that movie came out. I've pretty much been watching that movie.
Interesting.
I watch it once a year. It's my Christmas Eve tradition. I sit down and I watch it.
Nice. Ours is Elf, which we didn't do this year for some reason. But
most people watch a Christmas movie. I watch The Iron Giant.
Nice.
I'd recommend watching it again now as an adult with a new set of fresh eyes.
No, I definitely would.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's anywhere to buy. Unfortunately, I think it's like stream. I think you have to rent it, but
I'm sure it's not crazy.
No, it's like $4. I bought it digitally, and I have a steelbook edition of the Blu-ray film because I love that movie that much.
Yeah, it's only available to rent.
Yeah, it's worth like the $3.
But I'm sure it'll come around too at some point.
Yeah, it was on HBO Max for a while, but I guess it's not anymore.
All the movies rotate around all those things.
I'll probably go ask the Fuck the Police girl if she has a copy of it for free.
She could.
That's who I can get pregnant if she's not already.
I have a feeling that she probably has some methods to stop that inside of her.
She probably has some Plan B boxes stacked up in her basement.